Hey guys in chat, it's good to have you here. We are just setting up the stream, so be patient. How's everyone doing today? Yeah, well, hold on, I need to just refresh the chat. There we go. Yeah, how's everyone doing? We're just currently setting up the stream. Fucking hell, I can type at light speed when I want to. Have any of you guys had that moment where, like, be honest with me, how fast can you guys text and type? Be honest. Like, I'm one of those people where I write incredibly slowly, but I can text at, like, rapid speed. It's not exactly much of a flex, but... yeah, Lord of Potatoes, amazing name. I think this is your first time here, if I'm not mistaken. It's good to have you here, buddy. Spidey as well, good to have you here as always. New hero, welcome back. Megan, it's good to have you here, my dear. It's been a hot minute since you've been here. Shade, how you doing, buddy? It's good to have you here. Bran, good to have you here as always. Jason, welcome back. How's everyone going? Hey, thank you for the subscription, Emmanuel. It's been very, very good. Very, very good to have you here. Oh, where's the fucking thing now? I've lost the bastard thing! No! Wish Echo is here. Not gonna lie, I'd recommend people do this if, like, you're doing YouTube. Upload a YouTube short before you go live. Honestly, it's so good. I type at speeds capable of percepting blitzing pure lightning. Yeah, true. It feels like you're the only one with common sense, because sometimes in this community, cheers and continue making your videos. Well, it's not really common sense, it's just, you know, just paying attention to the media, I guess. Question, do you make your own thumbnails? Yeah, I do. Honestly, I am the worst fucking person for thumbnails, though. Like, I really overcomplicate the procedure. like, honestly, yeah, I'm really bad for thumbnails. I wouldn't recommend doing what I do, it's so weird. Like, at this point, I'm convinced I'm autistic, because, like... Which DreamWorks character is the strongest? I don't know, actually. I haven't seen, like, DreamWorks films in a hot minute. That's a good question. I will get you in the chat, by the way. I'll join Disagreement there. Bear me a sec. Right, I'm here. Hello.
Hello.
We've got Phoenix here. Oh no, what's happened to my multi-chat? The text is all weird. I don't like it. The text is all wrong. It looks very... it's like a different font and it's upsetting me.
Wait, what do you have for... Oh, wait, never mind. I see it. Yeah, you got your font on. Are you gonna do the last of stream because in the menu...
Oh, I think I fucked that up. Hold on. There we go. I clicked the wrong thing.
Yeah, I have Last of Us Part 2 and... Yeah, I have PS4 version. I got the remaster.
Hey, Banco, how you doing, buddy? Honestly, it feels like nobody does that now, especially here, pointing out shit people should have noticed. Yeah, exactly. And the funny thing is that I don't even own... I don't even own the game. Like, I basically just go around to a friend's house and we just keep... We just religiously play it, like, 'cause it's one of our favorite games.
I mean, technically...
Like,
hello, Shade.
Like, there were times where, like, me and my friend, we would intentionally die in a boss fight just so we could try listen to, like, new lines of dialogue. Like, we would, like, for example, the Peter versus Craven, where there's a lot of dialogue, we would deliberately leave him on 1 health and just kind of, like, drag the fight out just to see if there was any more dialogue, because we were just so invested in the game.
Oh, yeah, that's what I did. I think that's what everybody was doing with the, Raven dialogue. But
it's why it's all the more funny when people are like, "Thank you, someone who's played the game." It's like, I don't even own it. Like, but I don't really want to say it because then you'll get a load of knobheads who are just like, "You don't even own the game. You don't know what you're talking about."
Well, I mean, so by default, you played the game. Your friend owns the game, so you played it. So it's like,
well, yeah, but you know, like in YouTube, you'll get knobheads who are just like, "Oh, you don't own the game. You don't know what you're talking about." It's like, all right. It's like, I don't own you, but I can tell you're a knob, you know? It's like...
Yeah.
Anyways, it's good to have you guys here. I will go on to the thingamajig. Oh, that's a bit... I broke the 4th wall slightly. Bear me a sec. Let's just go on to Danko, wherever it is. I can't spell Danko correctly. Which one do you want to watch first? Do you want to... Phoenix, because there was some videos we had in mind. There was the, we had the Harmon Smith Spider-Man 2 one, and then we had the Danko, Superman versus the MCU villains. So,
yeah. I think we also had Insomniac Spider-Man versus the 7.
Yeah, since we're talking... Oh, yeah, Spider-Man versus the 7. Yeah, we've got quite a few. I think we'll go over the Harmon Smith Spider-Man 2 one first, because we're kind of all talking about Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. By the way, I saw that final episode of The Boys right after stream. Oh my god.
Wait, oh bollocks, I've lost the video. I like how you type in Harmon Smith Spider-Man 2 bad and guess who fucking comes up.
This is the question for us both.
I love that. What are the fucking odds of that? That's hilarious.
Jason said, have you or me played Usher is
Right. I have not done it, I'm afraid. Can you DM me on Discord? I want to see if I can talk to you guys. Yeah, if you at me, because I can't keep track of everyone's fucking names, I'm really sorry. I'm literally Spider-Man in Infinity War. Yeah, I can't keep track of everyone's names. If you just drop me a DM or, like, at me or something in general chat, I'll, sort it.
I really do like Bankai's name. Butcher copied Alex. Oh my god!
I can't find the fucking...
It was insane.
It's winding me up. I can't find the video.
Jason, like, it was insane. Like,
all right. Well, I'm gonna guess that he gets powers in some regard. Or maybe he does like some crazy prep time shit. But
there's no crazy prep time. But I'm surprised that you actually guessed that he gets powers.
No, well, I mean, that was pretty much inevitable, let's be honest. Alright, well, I can't find this fucking video, so we'll go on the Danko one.
Yeah.
Is it called it's Disagreement Day?
Have you played Zenless Zone Zero? Yes. Well, not right now, because, like, I was originally going to play it, and then after that, like, I was in the middle of playing Stellar Blade, and I didn't really want to uninstall Stellar Blade.
I think it's this one.
I was close to beating it.
I need to stream it as well, real quick, before I forget. Hold on. I've done that wrong.
Did you pre-order the Wukong game? I have not pre-ordered Black Myth Wukong yet.
Yeah.
Still the.
Hey, Chaotic Brains, good to have you. We'll sort this out. I just think a lot of the characters are overrated. In the DreamWorks thing.
Yes, I thought about doing so the way what I can find music. I thought protection. I thought
Alright,
I thought protection charm, but
let's have a cheeky look at this.
Mr. Steal Your Girl.
What the fuck is happening here? Can we actually like?
I don't.
Alright, well, let's just skip slightly ahead.
We need to get the groundwork on Superman before we can start assuming that he can take on all these baddies. We're going to look at Clark Kent. His parents placed him in a pod that ended up here on Earth. Wait a second. This is like Dragon Ball Z.
Ooh. Looks like you've got a tail.
Anyways, oddly enough, yeah, he's an alien. He's not from this planet. The yellow sun gives him godlike powers.
Yeah, we understand Superman fucking...
Bankai is still trying to figure out how to join.
Disagreement. You physically can't see Disagreement there unless I invite you to it. But, like, I'll add you to it. Bear me a sec. I just need you to at me so I know, like, what your account is.
This guy kills even Green Lantern and outmatched Aquaman and Wonder Woman in the Snyder Cut. Cyborg pulling his shoulders apart and tanks an attack from Zeus and Ares. Like, Superman completely had his way against Steppenwolf. Like, literally this scene from the Christmas Story.
Can we, like, actually skip to the fucking, like, bits that are actually worth talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I think this is...
I was like, don't let it touch Thor. Be careful.
Also, I've just realized there are, like, multiple different people who do Danko's videos.
Yeah.
And
I wonder why.
So added, like, this new layer of...
Alright.
Nice to see everyone.
Yeah,
well, to say hi.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, buddy. Right.
Suspense and worry that I haven't had in the past. Knowing that this sword can cut through people that way brought a lot of, like, worry and stress. We never really get to see Gore show his, like, full potential, full strength, or rage. He is upset, and it's sort of like this twisted, noble cause of him trying to get his daughter back, and he's willing to expend anyone in the way to do so. It's not like this bloodlusted, crazy-minded, like, I'm going to give everything I got to this. And so I guess it's thought out, so that might make it even more dangerous. But in the movie, we just don't see enough context of Gore. Superman could just blitz Gore and...
Excuse me? Jesus
Christ. What did I hear?
Okay. Right, we're starting the argument.
Can I... Oh my god, you can go, Rift.
Yeah, this is complete bullshit. It's stated by the director, the same director who did Love and Thunder, also did Ragnarok. It's stated that Gore the God Butcher surpassed Hela in every single way and was quote-unquote the bigger threat. Keep in mind it's stated multiple times in Ragnarok by Thor, Odin, Heimdall, and even Hela herself that she's a universal threat. She can also fly faster than the Bifrost. The Bifrost can travel across galaxies in a matter of seconds, so yeah, that's obviously bullshit. She has way better speed feats than Superman. You also have Gore stated by Zeus to be capable of killing everyone in Omnipotent City, which also includes the 2 Celestials that we see in there. Even though they're no-named and probably aren't top-tier Celestials, even your average one is still capable of creating planets, solar systems, galaxies, all the rest of it. So the fact that Gore can kill people that are galaxy busters, yet Thor can match him, Gore one-shots the verse. It's not even close.
Can I say, it's as simple as this. If you're using Snyder Cut Superman, he couldn't even react to Flash, who moved faster than the speed of light. Like, he was in frozen motion, so yeah, he gets blitzed.
Like, you have Superman, who could kind of keep up with a light speed timer, going up against, like, Gore, who is faster than MFTL character. Yep, it's not even close. Someone's at the door, just bear me a sec. You can look at this fucking CGI face in a sec, for a second.
Honestly, I don't know why people overhype Snyder's Superman. It's kind of one of those things where he's, like, he appears strong, but he doesn't have any feats. It's kind of like that idea that even if he scaled to Darkseid, and if Darkseid had good feats, we still have nothing on Darkseid. There's nothing to say that even as Omega Beams move like it's, say, faster than FTL or anything like that. So
here's the only thing about Snyder's Superman. Now, keep in mind, like, and before anybody says anything, because I know I get a lot of hate for this, I'm a huge Snyder fan. But like, you can't really put
Right, we are
anything
back.
with like Snyder
can I-
Superman.
For anyone
Really sorry I
who
never
missed it.
at people on Discord. Just send me a message in the general chat and I'll invite you.
And I'm starting to see people get upset, but essentially this, if you think a character's power level determines the quality of their character, then you're clearly not watching for the right reasons.
Yeah. Jason, it depends. What type of edit were you planning to make?
Anyway, I want to know what the fuck defeat Darkseid when he's on Earth. Pretty much any of the top tier MCU characters, because Darkseid just has no feats. The scaling in the DCEU is kind of overrated.
Yeah.
So, like, Thor could take him, Scarlet Witch, Thanos, Thor, said Thor already, like Doctor Strange,
Iron Man
etc.
could take him.
quickly.
I mean,
Even though Gore
arguably the
holds
strongest
and
people,
wields the
like
weapon.
Zeus, like we have nothing on. Like they're saying that Zeus is like one of the most powerful people. We have nothing on Zeus.
That can finish Superman for good. It seems like there's a consistent thread, though, of people losing loved ones or cold-heartedness that leads them to this deep root of bitterness to really just get rid of anybody in the way to get what they want. Maybe that is the story of evil. But another person that comes to mind is Wanda, the Scarlet Witch. How would she go up against Superman? Would it be
Kills him, no diff.
close? She's literally
That's
crumbling the
another
world
character
around her,
with
trying to get to
power
the
and love.
multiverse to find her two sons. She's willing to expend
Wait,
anyone,
pause for a
even
second real
herself,
quick. I have a question.
in other universes.
Yeah, what's up?
Was Scarlet Witch bloodlusted? Because I can't remember.
Yeah,
Was she bloodlusted?
message in Discord, dude. Just in the general chat. Just message. Let me know when
Was,
you.
We're not-
was
So,
Scarlet
I
Witch
think-
bloodlusted throughout Multiverse of Madness?
No, she was holding back for the most part.
Well, that's what I was about to say. She had killing intent, but she didn't go all out.
Like when she actually got to even when she got to like the fucking castle with all of the sorcerers, like she was killing them, but she was still like holding back to an extent.
Versus to get this life. Since Wanda has similar powers, similar to Thanos, who we'll talk about a little.
Also, an interesting thing about this film, even though the film itself is pretty shit, when Scarlet Witch fights Discount Captain Marvel over here, she was able to the reason why, because like people are like, oh, she died because a statue fell on her. Yeah, it's because Scarlet Witch completely drained her of her power. So like she could just do the same to Superman.
A little bit later, she has the ability to warp reality and change the actual fabric that holds the universe together. She could be a real threat here. She was able to defend the 383 Professor X, one of my favorite characters from all of Marvel, and just get to see him neck snapped like that is just kind of sad. She fought with Professor 383 in the astral plane, or maybe it was just a place in their mind that they fought. It looks similar to where Professor Xavier fought against Apocalypse, but it may have been something totally different. If Scarlet
didn't
Witch
fight
could
against-
get in Superman's mind
Wait.
this quickly,
Didn't she like completely bully Professor X?
Yeah,
He kind of
and
then just
if we're
killed.
go- yeah, and if we're going to bring up Professor X against Apocalypse, that was an X-Men Dark Phoenix. So if we're gonna bring that up, I don't see how that will work, because Apocalypse actually told. I can remember this fight because like it's been a while since I've seen Dark Phoenix, but like from what I can remember, it seemed like that was in a fight. We don't know what was even
Banker,
going
you're
on.
not-
And
Sorry, Banker, you're not listening to me. You need to message me in the Discord server. You don't sending me a private message isn't gonna work.
But just to put this whole thing to bed, it's like Scarlet Witch has reacted to Captain Marvel's beam, so she should be able to react to Superman. And she can just simply say, oh, kryptonite, and then just kill him that way if she wanted to.
yeah,
Like, that's just
hold on.
being lowballing her. That's just saying that even if you were to make her creative with her powers and still hold back, she can do it.
Yeah, it's fucking
the
insane.
same way she did with Professor X, it's immediately over. Like, it's
Okay,
done. She's
just
even
a second,
able to
Andrew.
catch her son Tommy, who's moving at super speed here in the scene from WandaVision. Maybe that was just her mind creating this character, so she actually has bullet time as well. Or maybe he is real, since she can warp reality.
I love that this is like the best speed feat you can get. Like, really?
I just feel like when like they're talking out of their ass, they're like know what they're saying.
Like Scarlet
Yeah.
Witch 1v1ing Thanos and actually having him on the ropes. Like, you couldn't have used that.
Wanda, what multiversal scaling?
real. So does this mean she has enough speed to at least throw an attack at Superman or attempt to
Superman
crack his
dodged
mind?
Also, she was capable of reacting to Doctor Strange throughout the film, and like a weakened, like an inexperienced Doctor Strange could like not only fight in the dark dimension, which is a realm beyond time, but he could also just like consistently like get the better of Thor in terms of speed.
Yep. And another thing too is like keep in mind like this is like a Doctor Strange that's holding back
Before he blitz. So I have to bring back this scene. Superman is kind of like half-minded here. He's not even in his full mind. He's just upset and angry and scared and nervous and all this stuff. He literally slow-mos the rest of the Justice League, and he's able to throw actual punches at the Flash.
He didn't slow-mo
the Flash was
the
able to
Flash.
dodge him, but the Flash even got caught.
No, he said he slow-moed the rest of the league, and like he was able to.
Oh yeah.
Caught up in this Speed Force. So a Scarlet Witch.
Also, the thing I find, how old is this video? 1 year ago. I find it funny that they're using like feats and stuff from like the Josh Whedon 2017 cut. Like, why would you not just use Snyder cut? It looks better. Bankai, I sent you an invite to the Discord server, dude.
Red Phoenix, if movie Sonic was in the MCU, how far do you think he would go?
I mean, if you give him his super forms and stuff, he would probably solo, but you would probably need Cyber Sonic for him to take on, like, Infinity Ultron and the Watcher and stuff.
Yeah.
Able to catch Superman off guard.
By the way, one more
Attack
thing about the whole
mentally.
entire multiversal scaling is that Jean Grey is also multiversal, or Omega, so, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, Wanda would be
get
an Omega level threat, but also multiversal at the same time.
I saw Snyder cut, that fight with Superman beats up the League is similar. Yeah, it's similar, but it just looks better.
Superman off balance.
Like the only
to
thing
get
to
inside.
say about Wanda is her durability is still human level.
Yeah.
I disagree. Well, her durability is not great, but like it's way better than like just a regular human.
Oh, that it's still not that good, even if it is better than human.
I mean, she can take hits from like super soldiers, but yeah, like that's pretty much it.
His mind to finish him for good. I don't know. Like Clark Kent is fast, but if we come down to like who these people are, Scarlet Witch is a killer, right? Superman's not really a killer. We see him kill General Zod, and he's like upset about it. Wanda doesn't. And she doesn't think twice about
And then you
it.
stop at the
And so I think that just the edge of just like the lion in her, just the ferociousness.
Yeah, I'm reading it. I'm reading it, Potato.
I
but
put her
you know,
above Superman.
already watching
here.
something.
If you want to know more about this fight specifically, watch this video here. It's Superman versus Scarlet Witch. I think you'll really like it. Up next, we have Shang-Chi's dad. We're gonna have a little family reunion.
will kill in the Snyderverse. Like, he has no qualms about killing people after he kills Zod. Like, he's okay with killing a terrorist. He's okay with killing Steppenwolf.
He's
Even
okay
Doomsday,
killing
it doesn't-
Doomsday, yeah.
Yeah.
Wenwu, also
Superman
known as the
really has no
Mandarin. He's now
reservation.
over 1,000 years old. He found the 10 rings with mystical properties and then founded an army to conquer and pillage the world for a millennia. Wenwu is actually at the top of several most powerful MCU villains, forums, and posts. So, why? How can this guy be a problem for Superman? Well, basically the thing that you've been
So
saying.
I'm guessing
for
the other three villains he's going to talk about is Hela, Surtur, and Thanos, which suits me because
Yeah.
I've got a lot to talk about for those three.
years now, the thousands and millions of comments that says Superman's weak to magic. Well, if we're going to talk about strength, it's pretty impressive. Wenwu the Mandarin is able to do some pretty crazy things, like punch the crap out of this giant scale gate and like actually break it. Also, hits like this are pretty serious. This is a pretty eternal level of power. We don't see waves like this from Namor. Even the Legend of the Rings say that the 10 rings give him godlike powers as well as eternal life. I just don't think we're going to see Wenwu get the best of Superman here. Superman has the power, strength, ability, agility, and everything else. He doesn't have enough to really compete against Superman, but it's still a cool fight. We might actually need to...
Potato, I literally responded to you, like you're still being a dick. Like I've already said I've seen the video you put in the Discord, but I'm not interested. We're already watching something.
do a different video about Ying Li. This girl is crazy. Do you remember this scene? This girl's talking to the wind and making the 10 rings look like a walk in the park.
Hold up.
Well, we did talk about Gore earlier.
That
Let's
doesn't
go back
count
to
'cause he's
that
holding
type
back
of thing.
the sparring match.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen like Shang-Chi, so
So we have Hela.
That's why
Who
I
is
thought,
Hela?
Gentlemen,
The goddess of death. Arguably one of the channel's most favorite villains. And the comments don't lie. You guys talk about Hela a lot. It's kind of weird. Hela is the real deal. She conquered the realms with her father Odin as the executioner of Asgard. Then she was imprisoned in hell for a millennia by her father Odin to subdue her power. That's how strong she got. Gaining her power from Asgard, Hela was released from her prison in the wake of her father's death and went to restore her position over all of Asgard. After a few encounters with Loki and Thor, she quickly showed she wasn't playing any games. She broke Mjolnir. What the heck?
Why did you do that?
Speaking of Mjolnir, she was the actual original wielder of Mjolnir. It belonged to her.
Mjolnir.
Can I also
And
say
along with
something? That feat with Mjolnir is enough to put her stronger than Superman. Plus, Superman has no means of like killing her or like subduing her. She'll just keep regenerating.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
Did you watch
And
Chris's
plus,
video
Thor
about the
says
2000
that
heroes? Yeah, that's pretty. It was pretty interesting.
And plus, another thing is that Thor said that anything that hits him just feels like it's just the punch to the toe.
Yeah, it's rough.
So Thor can just
Mjolnir and Odin,
hitting
they
up
built their
up
Asgard
until that
empire
low.
through blood and
No, it's
conquest. And this, she easily manhandles Thor. Just makes him look like a chump. Yeah, she might have that older sibling bully mentality, but Thor's able to dish it back and she's able to take it. One of the biggest lightning strikes we ever see from Thor happens here, and it destroyed half of the castle. Like, this is huge. She's even able to
Fun fact about that lightning blast.
wield the
It's confirmed that Thor like temporarily knocked out Hela with that lightning strike, which is pretty impressive when you factor in how insane Hela is.
eternal flame of Surtur to bring back to life the fallen Asgard soldiers. And when Surtur came back, it wasn't like a big deal to her. She like went up against this dude, like wasn't.
What do you mean it wasn't a big deal? It's like the one guy who can kill her. What do you mean?
He completely disintegrated her. That was the only win condition.
Yeah, like it's like prophesized that Surtur is the only one that can beat her. Like, what do you mean?
exactly.
Like,
Scared
You wanna know
at
what's
all.
odd
They're
is, like,
huge.
You know what's odd is like I didn't even see Thor Ragnarok, so most of the Surtur feats I know, at least most of them I know are just from God of War Ragnarok, and I know that he's a lot power. Even
well, it's like he could fight Odin in his prime, and like he lost that fight, but fighting Prime Odin at all is still incredibly impressive. So.
Spikes
It was drunk.
through him. Actually,
Any-
it's making him stumble for a minute.
And Prime Odin couldn't kill Hela either. He had to imprison her.
It looks like she might have the upper hand here with Surtur, or at least have what it takes to take the Titan down.
What the fuck are you talking about? She has no chance against Surtur. What do you mean?
Just because she's fighting him doesn't mean she's on his level.
I guess by that logic, Hulk stood a chance against Surtur because he hit him one time. Like,
Then he
what do
just
you mean?
winds up his huge sword and sends her deep into.
Oh, that was a poor way of phrasing it.
I mean, this is the equivalent of Iron Man trying to make Thanos bleed. That's what this is.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, I'm not really sure what I expected from these guys because they have the mentality of bigger means better. So, like, for example, like Godzilla, they really overhype. So.
To Asgard, just deep, and it fulfilled the prophecy to end her, and really just left.
Like, this is actually such a perfect scene.
Lines up
Like,
his
she's
huge
pelting him
sword
with
and-
blades. He's not even phased.
He's
sends
just
her
pulled out his
deep.
blade. He's like,
into Asgard, just deep,
And here she looks
and it
fucking
fulfilled the
terrified.
prophecy to end her, and really just left her with a pretty embarrassing Mortal Kombat fatality. Superman isn't a god, but in the same respects as Hela and Odin and Thor, he has similar powers as them. The DCEU has.
Oh my god, this is so stupid.
Cap has similar powers to Thanos, therefore Cap scales to Thanos. It's like,
I mean,
So
the
dumb.
biggest with this argument is just the fact that he thinks that, oh, just because Superman is strong, therefore he can fight these people. No, because Superman is nuke level, maybe, because he was outright knocked out by a nuke. So he's at least above steady level, but that's low tier scaling in the verse.
yeah, it's pretty rough.
Like even he would be like Spider-Man level at the like, and even then I would say the Spider-Man could probably outstrike Superman maybe, or it'd be rough depending.
Yeah.
on
Do you imagine if someone heard that? You put a community post, just no context. Spider-Man stronger than
Phoenix,
Superman.
end of Boost Saga,
I mean,
Goku versus
Superman is
DC.
still more stronger, but still, it's like they should be like they have the similar feats.
Yeah.
hasn't really done a great
That is
job
a
at
draw.
showing how powerful
versus
and some of the
Superman
best
is
feats
50-50.
of Superman yet. But he's really
It's like here you have him like literally shitting himself, like trying to stop. I think the world engine was calculated to country level, and it's like it was weakening him slightly because the atmosphere within the world engine was comparable to Krypton, and obviously like Krypton doesn't have the yellow sun radiation, but even so, like if you're shitting yourself over a country level attack, like you've got no chance against a universal threat.
indestructible. The
Then
only
he
thing
would
that
be
can
stronger
really
than the
hurt him
Spider-Man.
is kryptonite.
Like,
So I believe
I'm-
Hela's Necro Sword and spikes just won't pose much of a threat. Hela's not.
Fucking hell. It's like Doomsday could like fucking stab him. Like, what do you mean? He had like plot armor in that moment because kryptonite just suddenly no longer affected
Wait.
him. But
Wait,
he
wait,
could
wait.
still get
The last
damaged.
time I checked, kryptonite doesn't. Sorry to cut you off, Rich. But the last time that kryptonite was used against him, and this is probably like the last time I remember seeing it, in Batman vs Superman, kryptonite doesn't affect him anymore, right?
no idea.
I mean, it does affect him, but magically it didn't when he was trying to stab Doomsday, so I don't know.
Or go into the pool to grab it.
Yeah, and that fucked him up. Like,
Right.
hey, Geo's here, hello.
Not going to be fast.
Hela versus Frontiers Supersonic. Interesting.
Fast enough to dodge Superman's attacks. If we all agree that Superman's faster than Thor and Loki, I think he's got the upper hand here against Hela.
Superman isn't faster than Thor or Loki. Loki maybe, but not Thor.
Yeah.
Hela
Like,
definitely
I get-
has the edge in battle here because of her maturity. She's so much older, so much more battle than Superman's ever faced ever. That she
No.
might have a slight edge in that, but every
Like, there is literally not a single category that Superman beats Hela in.
Like, Superman in the verse, you could argue is a bit above Iron Man, but Iron Man has tech that can hurt Superman.
Yeah.
It's like, it's absurd.
other category, Superman just exclamation points when it compares to Hela's
You know what's odd is that most
abilities.
of these
So
times I feel
Superman
like
comes
getting
out winning this one
coaching
with
or you just randomly
difficulty,
just
but
looking
the
at, like,
majority of the time he beats
looking
Hela.
at, oh,
Since we talked about
I'll probably beat this guy is just stronger than this guy.
Off topic, what if Superman gave the spear to Wonder Woman, he distracts Doomsday, and Wonder Woman can backstab Doomsday, win, no one has to die? They had to severely weaken Doomsday for that to actually happen. Like, not only did Batman, like, use kryptonite on him, but also Wonder Woman was restraining him with the lasso of truth, and even then he could break free, so I don't really think that would happen.
I would also say his arm was also still forming into a spear, so he still had a means to kill Superman, so...
Yeah, I think the point he was making was like Wonder Woman stabs him in the back, like Doomsday can't do shit to Wonder Woman, and then Superman keep his distance and win. But like he could just release an omnidirectional blast, and Wonder Woman's not able to block it because she can't use the braces because she's stabbing him. It's like all that would really achieve is like Wonder Woman would
braces are
probably
meant for
die instead.
defense.
what about Surtur, the guy that finished Hela? Can Superman finish Surtur? Well, this guy took several hits.
Literally, best case scenario for Superman, Surtur kills himself, killing Superman. Like, best case scenario, it's a draw, and even then, it's like...
From the Hulk, like big hits. And he
Oh,
was
one more
staggered
question
there
too is
and
like, do they
staggered
not
a
know
little
that
bit
kryptonite? They don't know that kryptonite exists, so Superman has a way better advantage here.
That wouldn't in this case.
I mean, it wouldn't really matter, because, like, it's still possible to hurt Superman. Like...
Yeah.
There's some people who are like, oh, you know, he's invincible unless you have kryptonite. It's like, obviously that's bullshit, but...
Like, he's invincible to human weapons and conventions, just not alien or god-like conventions.
It's kind of like
Right.
with Homelander. If you were to say like, oh, there's no weapon on Earth that can hurt him, therefore he's invincible. It's like, no, that's not how it works.
It's like,
when
no,
Hela
you
hit him with
know what
her
happened.
blades, destroyed a whole realm effortlessly. That's a big deal. Here's the thing about Surtur. Yes, he can wipe out an entire city just by
Is he honestly gonna lowball fucking Asgard to
Yes.
city level?
existing.
Yes.
Asgard's bursting into flames just by him being there. I love this fight. I think it's super fun. There's something great about a huge giant Titan thing that has all this power and just size. But
Like you said,
usually with stuff like this,
You what?
I was just saying, like you said, bigger is better to them. That's all it is.
Yeah, like bigger is like with the Avengers versus Godzilla. It's like he reckons Godzilla stomps. It's like no, it's not the case at all. But it's like with this feat, for example, like people try. I don't know why people lowball Asgard because like even though it doesn't look that big, I'm pretty sure it's stated that Asgard is the size of the United States and it's as durable as the Earth. So like it's still a planetary feat. Even if you lowball the shit out of Surtur, he's still planetary.
they're just so dang
But
slow.
wouldn't
Like, I just don't
Surtur
think he had-
from Ragnarok? Wouldn't he technically? I have a feeling. This is what I think about planetary. Wouldn't that be overtime for him to be planetary?
What do you
no.
mean?
Well, he needed the flame from Loki to put him in it to get him at that level. Whereas before, in the beginning of the film, Thor can beat him.
Yeah, pretty much.
has a chance to react.
I don't know if
yeah,
you're reading this, but Bayverse could get up to massively faster than light. Yeah, I know. He reacted to Megatron's jet.
The way he would need to react to defend himself against Superman. The two attacks that we saw against him, one when he was like smaller and less, Thor handled him before. And he wasn't like the size of Asgard or bigger. That was fulfilling a prophecy. I'm talking about that one. That's the one we're talking about. Superman fighting. He just had to tank those hits from Hulk. He had to tank those hits from Hela. There wasn't any like dodging or like parries that he was able to do. He's so freaking big. It would literally be winning the Powerball if Surtur was able to land it.
Like, why the fuck would he need to dodge any attack? He can just tank it. Like, what do you mean?
Surtur can stand there and take it. He's made out of fire.
And it's
I mean,
even like just because he looks not very slow, it's like he could keep up with like Odin in his prime. So it's like
The only win condition Superman could possibly have against Surtur is if he was somehow strong enough and durable enough to create enough force to like punch his head off like Thor did at the beginning of the film at that size. That's his only win condition. And that's assuming Superman's even at that level.
yeah, pretty much.
Hit.
But it's like I doubt that's gonna happen because it's like hella debatably close, like at her strongest. Like he wasn't even phased by those massive blades, so I don't think that's happening.
Superman. I think Surtur does have the power to hurt
Plus, as well, someone as strong as Hulk, it's like he was barely shit to Surtur.
Superman, though. He's just too big. Like, he's too powerful and too strong. And there's a little bit of a magic element built into that as well. And who knows, man? Like, Surtur's a big ball of fire. Like, so is our sun. I mean, can Superman draw energy from Surtur? Like, if he can, he's like
Superman can draw
done.
energy from the sun.
Like, he gets
Not the
hit with
actual-
some sun and some fire, and Superman's like, that felt good. And then now he's more strong than he was like 2 seconds ago. Like, kind of not good for Surtur.
If you're on
Is that the logic?
so Superman apparently gets amped from fire. No, it's yellow sun radiation. Like, fucking Christ.
Like, without the radiation, Superman is pretty much fodder. Like, he's like, that's the whole point. Without the radiation from the yellow sun, Superman is no different than, say, if he were on a red sun planet.
Apparently Superman gets amped from fire. That's crazy because he got knocked out by a nuclear fireball. So
Finally, let's
I
talk
mean,
about
logic,
Thanos.
Hulk feeds off of radiation, so he would get stronger from Surtur if that were the case.
Exactly.
so
that's the
fucking
thing.
dumb.
Superman has an infinite supply at that point.
like he's literally like I don't even fucking know. I'm so confused.
The big dog. So Thanos did this to the Hulk. Pretty embarrassing for the Hulk. Thanos is super strong, and he is super fast and super tough.
I hate when they do shit like that. It's like, oh, this character's super strong. It's like, yeah, no shit. Like,
He's not like light fast.
oh, sorry. Yeah, my bad. I didn't realize the Incredible Hulk was strong. Yeah, sorry.
But he was putting some boxing moves, made the Hulk look dumb. He's able to tank a hit from Stormbreaker in the chest and lived from it. And before he was even hit by Stormbreaker, he was hit by a lot of lightning. Like a lot. I don't think Thanos would be able to blitz Superman, though.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Superman's just too fast for Thanos. So Even if he had the
Or
chance to,
blitz him.
Like, Thanos, even at the start of Endgame, when he was, like, on death's door, he could still react to Captain Marvel's lightspeed blasts.
I mean, he saw it coming from from the light that was already emitting from it, but even then, he still blocked it.
Yeah, like, even if you
Exactly.
want to say he, like, aim dodged it, it's still impressive, especially since he's basically at death's door.
do, and including everything Thanos might be able to
Like,
do.
I'm really
with
gonna
Infinity-
count Thor from
Like the only best
Infinity
speed,
War?
like the best speed feat Superman possibly has is outrunning the gravitational of a black hole, or just like scaling somewhat to Flash. But even Flash outblitzes Superman when he moves faster than light. So
Gauntlet. I still think, and there's room to talk about this in debate. I don't even know if Thanos would be able to have a thought fast enough before he just.
But it's like, because obviously Thanos could 1v3 the Trinity. It's like, even Captain America can, like, aim dodge lasers. Like, when he fought Ultron. Like, even he can react to them. Like, you seriously think Thor can't, or, like, Iron Man can't?
just gets
like if
pummeled
Captain
by
America can do it, anyone faster than him can do it. It's that simple.
Superman. You know what I mean? You got to have a thought. Sometimes that thought takes a second, and then you snap your fingers and make a motion with your gauntlet. I think Superman's already ripping your head off. So Thanos, even wielding.
I guarantee Thanos can snap his fingers faster than Superman can hit him.
I mean, if Thanos can withstand the snap, there's nothing Superman's doing to him.
That's just crazy, though.
Because it's like,
Honestly,
even, like, lowballing the snap, I don't know why people think it's continental, that's so dumb. It's literally just a throwaway line from Iron Man, it doesn't mean anything. But, like, it's like, even, like, in the first Avengers, like, just the Tesseract, like, the Space Stone, had the potential to wipe out the Earth. So, like, just one stone by itself could still be planetary.
I mean, actually, they could be universal because even the Power Stone said that it could wipe out the entire universe if used incorrectly.
Well, yeah, it's like the Reality Stone in the Thor: The Dark World. It has multiple statements, putting it at, like, anywhere between star and universal. And also, and funny story as well, at the start of Endgame, when they say, I think it's Rocket who says it, where they're like, when Thanos snapped his fingers, the Earth became ground zero for an energy surge of ridiculous cosmic proportions. So, like...
That's called planetary.
So, like, you could say it scales above, like, phenomena like black holes, or, like, gamma ray bursts, or, like, neutron stars. I think that's fair.
It's just one of those things where the stones themselves, they affect the user, whoever uses them. Like with the Power Stone, it kills people who use it of lesser strength. For the Tesseract, it teleports you someplace, God knows where. Soul Stone, we have no idea, but all the stones really affect the user depending on who actually holds them.
Oh, I've actually got a really mean, I've actually got a mean way of wanking Captain America, like, capable of beating the Insomniac verse, but it is proper ridiculous. But we'll see if anyone takes that bait.
What?
I don't see that because I would even say that if you were to look at even the low tiers, not even Spider-Man tiers, some people can beat, Cap.
Nah,
Cap
he's got some insane stuff, as my boy Rogers. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, even in Guardians of the Galaxy, it stated, like, if you're not strong enough to use the Infinity Stones, you just die. And, like, Thanos consistently can wield all six at the same time. And, like, yeah, it causes a lot of pain to him, but he can still do it. And I'm pretty sure it was stated by the Russos that, like, Captain Marvel and Thor would have died if they tried performing the snap. So that's ridiculous.
All of the
And
power
one more
of the
thing,
universe.
too, Thanos also has the Time Stone, so by that logic, he could go back and outpower scale Superman if that were to happen.
I'll take the bait. How does Cap beat the Insomniac verse? You could argue he's too durable.
I kind of disagree because Cap has some instances where he does get injured, like even by regular bullets, so it's kind of iffy.
This guy's dumb. Thanos has a time stone. He can turn back or freeze time. I mean, I don't know if he has the Infinity Stones in this fight, but, like, if he does, then yeah, it's a GG.
And all the Infinity
does.
Gauntlet. I just don't think he's
That's
going to
the
have
thing
what
when
it
I
takes
first
to
watched
match up with
There's
Superman's
no way
speed.
for anyone to beat Thanos at all six. I was thinking, why not just get the Time Stone, freeze time, and the Avengers just take the Infinity Gauntlet? I was always questioning that.
I was questioning that too, but at the same time, though, the one thing that I truly want to question is, why not knock out Star-Lord?
Well, I think it's actually pretty interesting speculating about stuff, because it's like, you have that line from Doctor Strange where he's like, yeah, I looked into the future, there was like 14 million futures, and we only won in one. So, like, I feel like if they were to try, like, using the stones against... If they tried using the Time Stone against Thanos, it just wouldn't achieve anything. It would just be like a draw, if anything.
But the thing is, though, like, I really wanted Strange to go back in time or something.
I just really wish we saw those futures, or like an idea of like, hey, maybe Strange saw futures where they did win, but something other bad happened other than Thanos. It's kind of like, I wish there was more than just saying, oh, we win out of 1 in 14 million. In a multiverse, it could be the opposite.
Yeah, true.
Like, there's of you winning, infinite possibilities of you losing. Like, the statistics don't work that way.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
If you want me to dedicate a video on Cap versus the Insomcast, I'll do it, because I don't mind, but...
Speed just wins.
See, like, this is another thing. I feel as though Danko really overhypes Speed in a fight, because, like, I'm pretty sure he did a video before where it was, like, Stormbreaker Thor versus Superman, and I'm pretty sure they said that, like, Thor takes every category, but Superman takes Speed, therefore he wins. It's like, it's not that big of a deal.
Because if that's the case, then wouldn't Superman scale to Thor in speed?
Well,
No idea.
Well, it's like, say for example, Superman's, like, faster, but that's his only category. It's like, Thor could just outlast him. Like, he's too durable to take any damage, and he has way more stamina. It's like, he could just outlast Superman and then cut his head off. Like, I don't understand why speed is the deciding factor.
Overall,
like, yeah,
Like,
if he was faster, stronger, and the better fighter, then yeah, I'd understand. Like, that would make sense. But, like, speed is just not. What are we talking about? The topic is Superman from the Snyder Cut films versus, like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe villains. And we're just talking about how Danko really overhypes Superman.
I think he also overhyped Homelander too, but...
here again. And so, if you made it this far in the video, thank you.
Like, there are some DCEU fanboys that think that this motherfucker can beat Supreme Strange. I'm like, there's no chance.
No.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch and hang out. We really appreciate it.
And it's comic Superman, or like a version of Superman who can do that when he has nothing to go with.
And it's it's hilarious as well, because if you watch What If, like, Ultron looked at Strange and he was like, okay, if I kill you, you all die. And it's like, Thor was there. And I'm pretty sure that in What If, Thor, like, one-shot a giant star. Yet Ultron was like, okay, if I beat Strange, you're all fucked. So, like... You're basically you're basically saying, based on no evidence whatsoever, that this guy is massively above star level. It's like, again, with no feats or evidence to back it up, it's just ridiculous.
Make sure to join our Discord. Also, what if Superman were to be bloodlusted?
It wouldn't matter.
That's Injustice Superman.
We've seen Superman bloodlusted before. It's like, it's not that big.
How is he countering the hacks of Wanda? I don't know, by being too fast, I guess.
That was Injustice Superman, because, like, Injustice Superman is the one that's bloodlusted.
Even then, if you look at the comics, Injustice Superman is pretty much almost, like, he's not broken, but he's more of what people are thinking of when you fight the MCU characters.
Yeah, I guess I'll, just for the sake of argument, since that video was over, I guess I'll mention the highball for Cap. It's stated by Thor in Infinity War, because, like, when he's with the Guardians, and they're like, oh, we should all have a Thanos killing weapon, and Thor says, I can't remember the exact line, but it's something along the lines of, like, your minds and bodies would crush and would, like, crumble under the weight of such a weapon, or something like that. And guess what motherfucker can use Stormbreaker? Your boy Cap. Which is pretty interesting as well, because the Guardians, like Star-Lord, even before he inherited his celestial genes, it's like the Guardians of the Galaxy working together could handle the power of the Power Stone.
Well,
yet Thor was just like, yeah, you guys can't handle Stormbreaker.
But there are two things with that. Thor could either be talking shit, and two, there's a thing about wielding Mjolnir is that you're given the statistics of Thor the moment that you become worthy to hold it. So it's kind of iffy at that point because.
I mean, if you wanna say that worthy Cap is
I'll be right back.
Fucking hell, are you like the Flash or something? You were like, right, I need to go. Alright, I'm back, like, immediately. But yeah, if you want to say that, like, worthy Cap gets the stats of Thor, then yeah, that would also mean that he beats the Insomniac verse.
But here's the thing, that only applies to when he's worthy enough to wield Mjolnir, because the thing about that is if Mjolnir didn't grant him said statistics, he wouldn't be able to wield Stormbreaker or Mjolnir to begin with. That's the whole point.
I mean, you could argue even back in Age of Ultron he was worthy, because like he was the only character who could actually move Mjolnir, aside from Thor and Vision.
Still, we have no idea. All we know is that it's the enchantment from the hammer, not necessarily Captain America himself, that makes him that strong.
I mean, fair enough. But like that's kind of the point I'm making. Like if you wanna use like top tier stuff for Cap, especially in like Endgame, it's like he would overtake the Insomverse.
But just to prove your point, like if this is Cap with Mjolnir or the ability to like use Stormbreaker with Thor statistics, yes, he one shots the Insomverse. But if this is like regular Cap with none of that, then I don't think he does. I don't even think.
I think he would. Like, I think he'd still be able to like take on the top tiers. I don't know whether he'd win, but like,
I don't think he's I think he'd be around B to A tier at the very most, but that's just accounting for skill, not necessarily his overall statistics.
Puffer versus Superman, yeah, Puffer bodies. What is the speed scaling for MCU? Are they fast and light? Yeah, you can get them to like even characters like Captain America. You can say that they're like relativistic to the speed of light. And then you have top tiers where they're like massively faster than light, debatably like breaking the speed equation kind of thing.
I mean, the best you can say is like someone like Hawkeye can like react to people who are hypersonic. So you have hypersonic scaling for Hawkeye. And then for Captain America, you could say he either aim dodges or can at least, react to light speed attacks, but he does get tagged by them a lot. So you can really say that he can just partially dodge at a high end. And people like Thor, Hulk, and just high tiers just dodge people like faster than light. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I think as well, another reason why Cap would contend with the top tiers is mainly just because of, like, just his sheer willpower and durability. Like, because he's pretty much fought, like most of the top tiers in the verse. Like, he survived a fight against Loki, he's fought Ultron, he's taken hits from Thanos. Like, even without Mjolnir.
There is a lot of context between that. Like, Loki wanted to get captured, he wasn't going all out. Thanos wasn't trying to like kill anyone. In fact, he was still holding back in Endgame after almost killing Iron Man. It's like, yeah, you can say that he's tangled with some higher hitters, but it's the same logic of these characters aren't going all out on.
But it's like, what about Endgame Thanos? He's going all out.
Well, it depends on which Thanos is. That Thanos is taken straight from Avengers 1.
Well, it doesn't matter at that point because Cap, whenever he didn't have Mjolnir, still needed his shield to like block any of Thanos'.
But he could still take hits from Thanos.
Well, we're talking about, and if we're talking about Endgame, then if he didn't have Mjolnir, he needed a shield. Otherwise, he went flying. When he had Mjolnir, he had Thor statistics. Because it amps Cap to the point he's at Thor's level, like he can wrestle with Thor now if he wanted to.
Yeah. Oh wow. Well, Superman versus Homelander isn't even close. Or is never been.
Surprising absolutely no one. He says Superman wins because he really loves Superman. What was the video that you wanted to watch, Phoenix? There was a couple that we had in mind.
It was Insomniac Spider-Man versus the Seven, and I think it was the one that I did for the Craven one. I think it was my Craven PS4 one.
So
was it this one?
Yeah.
Professor Fiction,
hey everyone, it's Prof again, back again, doing another video.
How can they be scaled to those speeds? Well, it's like even characters like Captain America can react to, well, it's like because you obviously have like some characters that can fire like light speed attacks, like Captain Marvel's photon blasts are light speed, Iron Man's particle beams are light speed, and you have a plethora of characters who can react to that.
And I'll just clear it up when I say this. When it comes to someone like Cap, he can get tagged by, say, bullets, or he can't dodge bullets outright. That's why he needs the shield. But he does dodge these projectiles, and he does get tagged by them sometimes. It's kind of a saying that even if he's aim dodging, he would still be relativistic for it.
Yeah.
Video. This time,
Hi guys, this is Tyler.
Oh, Tyler.
since Garo versus the Seven is literally my most popular video ever, I wanted to do another could they solo the Seven, but this time with a more heroic character, that being Spider-Man. But seeing as I know nothing about Spider-Man, I got the resident Spider-Man gamer expert, Tyler.
We're gonna be talking about Spider-Man versus the Seven. I'm excited, here to help spread the gospel about Spider-Man. Thanks Fiction for having me on.
For this video, we will be using Insomniac Spider-Man, since he's kind of the most relevant one right now, and it's the most interesting when it comes to this discussion when it comes to the actual power scaling. I will cover all of the boys scaling, and Tyler, like I already said, will cover pretty much
I mean, to be fair, Toby and what have you would body, but, you know.
all of the Spider-Man stuff, and then we'll break it down for you guys at the end and explain who would win. Scaling the boys universe has always been somewhat touchy. Homelander has always kind of been looked down upon as the trash version of evil Superman, basically a way weaker Omni-Man. And as much as I'd like to tell people they're wrong, I really can't. I've discussed this in other videos, but most of the supes of the boys are considered above standard military weapons like tanks, missiles, and fighter jets. At the first confirmed appearance of a T-word supe, the US government has no choice but to sign a government contract with Vought, as all their weapons have been made irrelevant. This same supe then gets off-screened and no-diffed by Black Noir. A modern M1 Abrams tank usually yields around 20 million joules, or enough to destroy small buildings or bunkers, which they do. Many high-tonnage naval weaponry can greatly exceed this as well, and this is pretty consistent with the feats displayed.
It's kind of one of these moments where, like, I'm quiet right now because I'm just waiting for them to say something really out of pocket. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
let's
I'm
just
in that part of the mindset where it's like, okay, so Homelander should scale above, like, regular, like, missiles, regular bullets, and what have you. So he beats Thanos. Like, I'm just waiting for, like, something really out of pocket.
They're actually really reasonable in this, I think.
Generated an explosion of 2.5 million joules.
Only thing is, like,
They've
I understand that
stopped
Noir
a
has, like, a very
speeding
high
armored
pain
truck, which I've
tolerance,
also
but there's no
calculated
reason
at
why he
several million
should be able to
joules,
take
and
that close to an
Lamplighter.
explosion.
Who wins? Insomniac Spider-Man symbiote suit, full power, no mercy versus Blue Beetle.
Full power, no mercy, Black Suit.
Blue Beetle's Scarab, even without a host, destroyed a planet based on the prologue, so...
But yeah, maybe not.
As much as I
Former
love
member of the
that,
Seven,
it's Blue Beetle
melted
wins.
several objects with his flame-based ability, calculated at around 200 million joules. For those of you not exactly sure what I'm saying with this whole joule thing, don't worry too much about the exact numbers, but these levels of energy are generally considered enough to destroy small buildings. There is a statement from a Vought executive where she warns Butcher that Homelander has no weaknesses, and, quote, "There isn't a single weapon on Earth they haven't thrown at him. They've all
not bad of
failed."
you.
Many people, myself included, have taken this to mean Homelander can withstand getting hit by nuclear bombs, up to the likes of the SAR bomb, which has a yield of over 50 megatons of TNT, which would be more like 200 quadrillion joules of energy. However, this statement is extremely vague.
Now, what do you mean? They were stated to be wrathful gods in Season 4, so obviously they can beat Kratos.
The first question that arises to me is, who is they? Who is hitting Homelander with every single weapon on Earth? Is it Vought? How does Vought, who can't even sign a military contract without literally gaslighting the entire planet...
Well, I mean, then
consider
again, though, you have to
destroying
remember that
nuclear
in this
bomb?
universe, at
Why
least in the
would they-
boys verse, weaknesses don't matter. Well, weaknesses somewhat, yes, they do matter right now. But, like, you remember in Season 1 where Translucent said that he was indestructible.
Mm-hmm. He gets blown up.
How can I put this? Indestructibility doesn't matter when how can I put this, when organs are going around in someone's body. That's the reason why I believe that the Superman thing kind of goes against that. Because, yeah, while he is indestructible, doesn't mean that his organs are.
I mean, by that logic, he's Luke Cage level because Luke Cage can't take, like, say, a lot of force. Otherwise, it'll break his organs and his ribs, everything.
Yeah.
Use that bomb on Homelander. Is it the government? Who is it? We simply don't know, and it brings up way too many questions with no real answer. It's also possible this executive was just trying to gaslight Butcher, as Vought likes to gas up their heroes. As an example, A-Train is said to regularly move at 1,000 miles an hour, but in that very same episode, in fact the very same scene, his top speed is recorded at 371 meters per second, and the announcer calls it a new record, meaning he's never actually been recorded.
Wasn't he like I haven't seen like the first 2 seasons of The Boys in like a while, but like wasn't part of the arc with A-Train that he was like past his peak and he was having to like abuse drugs to try like reach his peak again?
Like, there is a thing about that though. They say that he did, like, in that very scene, that was his fastest he ever run with the 10V. So even though he was past his prime, the 10V pushed him past what he usually goes at.
Pushed him past he won that.
So that is A-Train's peak.
The Death Star versus the 7 Death Star.
Recorded running at over 1,000 miles per hour. More reasonably,
and honestly, that was
when he was
anything
younger,
by that
near the
logic.
center
I'm
of
really
the
thinking about it after watching that last episode. I can't really say anything about Newman because But anyways, let's keep going.
Explosion,
yeah, because I'm just
looking
at the scene. Pause it for a second. I'm looking at the scene. It basically says that he never had a recording better than the one he had in that race. So
that was like right after he took the V.
Yeah, I think it's mainly just a case of they overhype their characters, because, again, like, fucking Queen Maeve could, like, shove a pencil in his ear, and it, like, caused him to bleed, so, obviously, you know, Queen Maeve is the one doing it, but, like, either way, it's not a good showing.
Well, it depends, I think,
chemical.
Well, I can't really say anything, but that would put Soldier Boy at a large building or small town, then.
They say he blocked a massive with that explosion. Queen Maeve tanked like at the end of season.
Yeah.
They say not town level at all. Eyeballing it to an extreme.
Around 43 tons of TNT, or enough to destroy a city block. Most of the 7 generally don't move extremely quickly, however A-Train is consistently stated and shown capable of moving speeds around the speed of sound. Sometimes it's a little slower, sometimes it's a little faster. Some reference A-Train as reacting to Starlight's lasers, however these lasers actually move in slow motion compared to A-Train when he moves at a relative speed to them. Mind you, light moves at 300 million meters per second, which is almost 1 million times faster than A-Train's cannon, shown on screen, top running speed. Therefore, I find it somewhat dubious to actually say Starlight's beams move at
travel speed versus combat speed.
The speed of light. Homelander does have a feat where
it doesn't matter if he moves as fast as the beams.
I think so. Ashura or Black Noir. I don't really know shit about Ashura, so sorry.
Quickly saves Butcher
from
an
Kratos God of War. Which God of War Kratos? Are we like talking like God of War 1 through 3 Kratos, or like Ragnarok Kratos?
Ragnarok is stated to be better, but
oh, anyway.
Explosion, which has been calculated around 10 to 18 times the speed of sound. However, there is one other possible feat, which is more impressive, but a little more vague. Homelander suggests he's been to space before, and in order to go to space, you actually need to travel fast enough to escape Earth's gravity. This speed is around 33 times the speed of sound. I'll say Homelander could just be talking but considering his normal feats are around a Mach 18, I find this slightly more believable than Homie dashing around at light speed.
Now, I've talked about Insomniac scaling quite a few times, but for those on the Professor Fiction channel who aren't
Alright, well, this is where shit gets interesting, because
aware of how strong Spidey Yuri is, well, it's pretty cut and dry and easy to understand. Electro shoots Peter through a smokestack, which generated over 3.6 tons of TNT, or enough force to destroy large buildings, and Peter gets legit right up after this, so his durability should be higher than Electro's output.
I mean, you say he gets back up, does he ever go down from it? Like,
no, I think that he meant he got knocked down. I think he meant he, wait, go back to it for a second?
Because, like, yeah, he gets knocked back, but, like, he basically just instantly recovers from it.
Stack,
like,
yeah,
like he got knocked out,
tons of TNT, or enough force to destroy large buildings.
Like,
I guess
yeah,
it's
he's
because the fact that he's leaned over. Like, I guess just the fact that he's
Like
leaned
Peter
over.
wasn't injured by it. If anything, it was just like being being pushed and then just going back.
If anything,
Yeah.
I think it's a case of they wore him down because which is why he passed out at the end. I mean, it probably caused pain to him, but not that much. And again, he had broken bones and was holding back, so...
And Peter gets legit right up after this, so his durability should be higher than Electro's output.
I love Tom
Peter
Spider-Man
also can
can't
just
stand all
fight
the
and beat up
hate,
stronger
can't stand all the
opponents
hate
like
that he gets.
Sandman,
Any chance
Venom,
we could
who
bring that
both-
up?
Can I say something about that? No one hates Tom as the actor. We hate it's the writing that's the problem. It's like you can like Tom Holland Spider-Man, even his adaptation, but to say that he's one of the best or the best written one, then you're kind of either lying to yourself or you're kind of ignoring all the other adaptations in terms of quality.
Yeah, that's 100%. Because the thing is, we love Tom. It's just the way that it's just the writing.
Godzilla versus Homelander, bring 1,000 Homelanders, they still get one shot.
have calculations that get their attack potency ranging from the city block to even town levels of power. It's a little weird to say though, since Peter would probably lose to these two in a normal one-on-one setting, but we see his arms being able to absorb Miles' electricity, which could crystallize Sandman, which calculations have that ranging from around the multi-city block range. But in the final fight, Peter and Miles both have instances of getting the jump on Venom, though they mainly do this through teamwork. Miles as well as the same guy who was able to tank a nuke explosion, so regardless, Peter's AP by the second game should be significantly above his first game self, and he should be approaching those city block to small town ranges in my opinion. As for speed, well, he just dodges Electro.
I love how that entire argument, he probably had people in the comment section that's like, what do you mean PS5 was weaker than PS4?
What do you mean?
It's like, okay.
No.
Multiple occasions, with one of those times being damn near point blank, giving him massively hypersonic combat and reactions. But I think what this Spider-
See, the problem with what he's saying is that, he's not necessarily wrong, but he's just failing to highlight, with the Electro thing, for example, he's got broken bones.
Yeah.
So, it's, if anything, it's less than his base.
Spider-Man excels the most in isn't in his physical
Him
prowess,
doing
but
that
rather
means
his
he's
array of abilities.
or at
He can
least
restrain you in all sorts of ways with his web gadgets and can utilize things like
Plus, as well, because obviously we talk about, holding back, going all out, it's assuming that Anti-Venom is comparable to Symbiote Peter, it's Symbiote could break free from the cage, which was, deemed unbreakable, so, you could use that to, scale, sort of a Peter not holding back with Anti-Venom. He'd still be, capable of, assuming that cage was city level because of the unbreakable line. You could say, not holding back Peter, he'd be, city level.
Well, it depends. I look at that cage to be a small town.
Well, actually, it's calculated that it could be higher than Miles' feet, which was which you can argue is near the SAR bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
tasers
But
and
what
gravity
I'm gonna
bombs
say
to
is-
incapacitate.
And it's that people say Homelander's state level based on one statement. Peter in the black suit has a statement and a feat to back it up. That's the biggest difference.
I'd agree with that. Good. But, anyways.
The only feat that we have seen from Homelander is,
Yeah, go on.
at least from the show, is just him lasering a crowd.
Well, it's you could say that Homelander has two statements, but the feats kind of contradict it. But
Yeah.
The opponent and leave them susceptible to attack. He can shoot concussive blasts, drones that do more damage than his own strikes, allowing him to commit mass genocide against your average burglar in Queens. Seriously though, it goes without saying that this version of Peter is a force to be reckoned with, and it'll be interesting to see how he deals with a group of twisted heroes, that being the Seven, especially given since this version of Spider-Man has been Spider-Man for about 11 years,
10 years, close enough.
and is comfortable with fighting groups of people.
So, based on the
Yeah,
information
Chaos is in chat. Hello, buddy.
Okay.
me and Tyler have already gone over, Spider-Man is kind of stomping here, just being honest.
Gonna cry?
AP is definitely a debatable
Pretty
subject,
much.
Oh, I had
as there's several
one.
calculations that put the boys top tiers like Homelander and Maeve in that city block range, and some of Spider-Man's more mid-tier scaling is also in that range, but he also might scale a bit higher. Regardless though, nothing can save Homelander and the other members of the Seven from the absolutely atrocious speed gap.
Yeah, I mean, A-Train, who is literally a goat in
We're
speed,
gonna watch Danko's version of this after.
is like scratching like early mocks, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the boys has like JJK author
How? Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, this video is actually pretty high quality. I was just wondering.
levels of buffoonery when it comes to speed scaling. Like, I'm pretty sure the highest stuff, well, not the highest, but at least the highest stuff regarding consistency is like Mach 10 to 20, which is literally over 100 times slower than Spider-Man's reaction and combat timing. And we already know the gap between Homelander and the other members, so if we have someone who's already...
What do you rate season 4 of The Boys out of 10? Maybe a 6 or a 7. I think that's...
I'd say more than 2, but yeah.
I would say like right after seeing the finale, I have to give it a 9 out of 10 because my favorite character spoke.
Who?
Kimiko's my favorite character, and she finally spoke in the last episode.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think it was just too much gore for my liking, but I like what they like where they explored like Homelander's character and like Butcher and stuff.
Stronger and 100 times faster. There is nothing this group can do. They are getting slammed like the Guardians of the Globe.
In terms of teamwork, all of the Seven kind of hate each other. The only people that I think probably could combo together effectively are like Maeve and Homelander. They seem to have history. They've probably fought together a couple times.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah, with their
Fair point.
personalities, like they'll probably be, like Queen Maeve is definitely gonna side with Peter, right? Like, yo, fuck this Homelander guy, like, come on now. And if you don't think the Seven kill each other before they can hit Spider-Man, or if you don't think Spider-Man is just gonna overwhelm them with his strength because that's not what he does in character, that's fine. What about literally the GTA weapon wheel of gadgets he has as
I mean, that's gameplay over canon, but...
disposal where he can electrocute them, use gravity bombs that make them just float in the air. Peter has so much versatility going on. Even when he's fighting 7 other people, he could...
game, because the PS4 game, you actually see Peter get his web bomb, the electric taser. Like, he needs to make these things for the plot to move forward.
I mean, I guess.
Probably just out-hacks them. Bro, do you... Wait, yo, Fiction, let's just change...
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure we know where this one's going.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I want to see this in, like, just 1 second.
Oh, has Danko not done this one? I thought you did.
Yeah, the 7 beat Homelander.
Huh?
I think, yeah, Danko did another one. Can the 7 beat Homelander?
Oh,
you mean the 2? No, I'm doing.
I am so scared for that.
What?
Why Homelander vs. Thanos isn't even close, I swear down. Spider-Man vs. Carnage?
I haven't seen that one.
Is that Toby's Spider-Man based on the thumbnail?
Yeah. So what? I'm just gonna give you a sundown, but essentially they're saying because Carnage doesn't assimilate Spider-Man's powers, then he doesn't scale to him. So they're just going off the movie feats.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I'm expecting him to say Carnage stomps, because why wouldn't he? But
he says yes and no depending on the context. So I'll have them, if you want to watch it.
Let's go right into this.
Day in the battle arena. Well, we've got Spider-Man going up against one of his most powerful villains ever, Carnage.
Oh, I thought
basically think about it.
I mean, it's not one of his powerful villains because different verse, but close enough.
I mean, I thought this was the key issues video because of the stream. Sorry.
Like if the Joker got wrapped up in the Venom symbiote. Yeah, that's Carnage. And who cares if they're from different universes? Because apparently that doesn't even matter anymore. That's not a dish on No Way Home. I'm super excited for that movie. Anyways, who wins this fight? Who's going to come out on top?
So is this before No Way Home?
Before, I think.
Okay, so no Way Home scale.
Let's find out. What's up, guys? I'm Daniel. This is Danko. Thank you so much for watching the channel.
Get to the point.
Fight. Now, Carnage was a freaking nut. As strong and as tough and as powerful and as loud as you could possibly want him to be. The only thing that might make it better is that they gave that movie an R rating. I mean, could you imagine this scene that had been rated R? He really would have earned his name Carnage then. But basically, Carnage is just as powerful as you'd want him to be. He's strong enough to casually throw around cars, like casually chuck them all around with his tendrils. He's taking down helicopters out of the air. But probably most impressively, also most importantly,
I think the most impressive thing about Danko is even when he tries wanking characters, he still lowballs them.
Exactly.
he's matching up against Venom and just completely overpowering the guy. Now,
You're gonna mention how strong Venom is?
Venom, well, he's already strong
Carnage is
enough to casually wreck cars. Like, casually wreck them.
I mean, yeah, but is that
Yeah.
is that like the most they can do?
And
Like,
he's strong enough to
Venom,
fight
like-
against Riot. And Carnage was just
Riot,
kicking the
even without me
absolute
doing that
snot.
calculation, pause for a second, even without me doing that calculation, I think Riften, I think we mentioned this in like a stream, I think probably a month or two back. I knew that Riot was, keep in mind, like all of the symbiotes in the Venom burst are calculated to be small building level.
Yeah, like I'm just like looking at everything from the Sony one. People are saying that because Tom Hardy was in the Venomverse, he scales above MCU Peter. I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
Out of him, just kicking the
And the
absolute.
funny thing is
Piss
that
out of
I knew without calculations that every single one of the Venomverse symbiotes were calculated to small building, even without me, even like just based on me looking how Riot cleared out a room. Yeah,
Like in some Venom, like if we exclude all like the Raimi stuff and all that, he would probably beat all the symbiotes from the Sony,
Probably,
movies.
yeah.
Like
He
easily, I
nearly
would even say that
killed Venom.
probably.
That's how strong Carnage is. He's also tough enough to where bullets don't phase him one bit. Well, I mean, more often than not, bullets just pass right through him, but either way, immune to bullets. He's also definitely tough enough to take attacks from Venom. Like in a straight up fight, Venom was able to do close to nothing against Carnage. Basically, Carnage was overpowering Venom the whole way through. Venom was convinced he was going to be killed by Carnage, that he was going to die before the fight even started. That's the gap that I'm talking about between these two dudes.
I'm just so unimpressed.
So just for people who are going to say this, but essentially Venom was weak in the start of the fight because he hasn't eaten brains or like eaten anything since like the beginning of the film. It's actually established Venom is weak by the time he fights Carnage from his base.
Right. And on top of that, he was going from host to host trying to find something to eat.
It's rough.
Oh, shit! Where you going? That is a red one! You need to come out right now.
Only downside is Carnage is real weak to Sonics and fire. That's how Venom was able to get him in the end. Exploit that weakness. And I guess the bigger they are, the harder they fall, because Venom was hit with these same Sonics and all that. But he survived. So I guess Carnage...
Goji says that Arkham Batman wins because his gadgets can remove the symbiote from Peter. I don't agree with that, but anyway.
Like,
Isn't Tom Hardy's Venom building level or not?
But I played all the Arkham games. There's not one sound gadget that Batman uses that is on the level of, like, say, Peter's sonic grenades in the second game.
is just a bit more susceptible to those weaknesses.
Wait a minute, but there is the
Definitely
Sonic
something
blast.
Spider-Man can exploit right there. But before we go...
Plus, as well, it's like he's still very resistant to sonic grenades and stuff.
Yeah.
And like he can even attack when he's like on his ass from them. So.
By the way, one more thing. Technically speaking, Venom didn't win this fight. He used Cletus's wife. Or wait, were they getting married or were they already married before they?
It was the whole ceremony.
So they were married right after Venom showed up.
Pretty much.
It's
Okay,
ridiculous.
so by default, he used Cletus's wife, knocked her over, and caused a giant scream to happen. There was no fire, which I'm not sure how
To be
loud
honest,
her screech was, but
like Venom in these movies is that he never really beats the symbiotes truly via skill or intelligence. He just kind of gets lucky in all of them.
Yeah, like against Riot, he basically just let the rocket explosion kill him.
Well, it's just a case where Venom
Go any
should have
further?
died to both Riot or Carnage. There was no excuse
Yeah, true.
for them to
I want to
spare
make
him
sure.
or anything.
Like he could hang with them both, but like he's not better than them.
Mind y'all, go
Well,
follow us on
it would make
TikTok,
sense
on
if
Instagram, on
killed
Facebook, on Twitter, on all.
Not even that.
See, like another thing that's really concerning me about this video is the fact that we're like, it's only 9 minutes long and he hasn't even started talking about Toby yet. That's how you
And when
know
he
that
does-
some major bullshit is about to happen.
Like, even if you use Toby's scaling from his trilogy, ignoring the No Way Home stuff, Peter is still stronger, he's still smarter, he's still faster.
It's like Spider-Man 1 version of Toby alone. It's like the pumpkin bombs have been like calculated to like city block level or something. So
well, potentially, yes.
Per second. Good old Bully Maguire. He's got the proportionate strength of a spider,
no shit, get to the point.
Yeah, you
obviously, and is strong enough to trade blows and
Like imagine if like with every single one of my videos, like where I did like Spider-Man versus someone, like the first 2 minutes was me just explaining who the character is. Like it would just ruin the pacing of the topic.
overpowered
Well, you
dudes.
just
Like,
tell them which versions and then just explain the feats. That's
Yeah,
it.
so it's like we do a video where it's like Spider-Man vs. Carnage, and I'm beginning it's like, in 1961, Stan Lee had an idea to create. It's like, no one cares.
Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Sandman, and Venom. He's strong enough to pull down a wall on Goblin, hold up another wall in order to save Mary Jane, and she's just sitting.
I mean, that feat alone, like based on calcs, assuming that, I know there's a bit of controversy around the star, but like assuming that the star was actually like affecting everything, I'm pretty sure Crisis calced that to like at least 1 million tons.
Actually, he taken back that statement, saying look at his comp version of Toby, where he explains the wall feat a lot better. That way you actually know, like, if it's, like, really star level or if it's just, like, very, very heavy at the time.
Well, yeah, that's my... I don't think it's star level, I just think it's incredibly heavy.
And she's just sitting there
it's
like the
impressive,
ultimate
no doubt about
damsel
it.
in
I'm
distress the whole damn time, not even trying to get up and move. He's held up a trolley with just one hand, and who can forget Spider-Man stopping the train? Like,
He was running out of wet
easily
fluid at that
top
point.
10
Like,
superhero moments. Up there with the Dark Knight's interrogation scene, or the portal scene in Avengers Assemble
on.
from Endgame. So, Pete's super strong. That's a given. It should also be a given that Spider-Man's also super tough. I mean, he's just been
Is
whipped.
it tough and strong the same thing? I feel like tough
Tough and
for
strong are
Danko
the
means
same
like
thing.
durability, but like why don't you just say he's durable?
I mean, durability and strength, unless you use a gadget or have armor on, are they different? Like, you can have armor on but not be as strong, and you can use a gadget that makes you strong, but you're not durable. It's
Hell
like,
no,
unless
I
you're
almost
using...
Like there are some characters in fiction where like they're glass cannons, where like they can hit very hard but they can't take a lot of damage, but again, like with someone like Scarlet Witch, that's because it's like hacks based. So it's just one of those.
Yeah.
all of his villains.
Why did he bring up that MJ was just laying there not doing anything? I don't fucking know. And the funny thing is that she was pinned. Like she was pinned by one of the beams. So like it's not like she was just laying
How would
there.
that even go into the...
Doc Ock got some good hits in. My guy Green Goblin sent him flying with a kick, and then just brutally beat him down later on. Venom and Sandman nearly straight up killed the kid. And yet there's Spider-Man. Just keep on chugging along. Just keep on keeping on. Just keep on stacking up wins.
Okay, first of all, Peter was already beaten up.
Spider-Man's
too.
strong.
Venom had him pinned on the beam with his webs.
I mean, it's kind of weird because there's a statement saying that Venom recruited Sandman because he wanted to, like, make sure he can beat Spider-Man. I don't know what that entails, if he's already stronger and faster and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Noel, the god of Noel versus the Seven.
Why? That's...
Noel wins because, like, so far the Seven right now have no good feats if you're gonna count the comics. But
Noel versus the Seven. Wait, is that a joke?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, even his water goons can take the 7.
It's like, even if you blindfolded Null, he'd still win.
Spider-Man's tough.
Well, it depends.
But
Going up
come
against
on,
Butcher
dude,
now.
let's be real here. Like,
Eh.
this isn't even a debate. This isn't even
Yeah, I
Gonna
agree.
comment.
Toby bullies.
a conversation.
The moment
Of course, Venom is stronger. Of course, Venom is tougher than Spider-Man.
No, he isn't.
not
I mean,
these versions. Like,
just
they don't.
Look at
Like
Yeah, like
Spider-
like these. Oh wow, he's ragdolling regular humans. Cool. Your point.
them go.
Didn't like Toby can also ragdoll humans? Like he didn't. He did it in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
And that does fit in perfectly with how Spider-Man and Carnage
No, that just fits in with your head canon.
line
I
up
mean,
in the
biggest
comics as
issue
well.
is that the
Carnage
Sony
is all
symbiotes don't assimilate Spider-Man's powers at all, so that's another thing where even if it's not comic accurate to their power set, like that's the reason they're so busted.
It's ridiculous.
always stronger. He's always
I mean, we know which direction this is going. But
By the way,
it's
if
so-
we're really gonna count
so
Toby,
Spider-Man
if he's counting
always
Toby's
needs to
suit,
find
then by that logic, Toby has something that Carnage doesn't have, and that's called a spider sense. Because like not all of the symbiotes have a spider sense.
Well, it's even not that. It's the fact that symbiotes are only immune to a spider sense after they bond with Venom or with that specific version. So technically, these versions of Venom and Carnage would, it would still go off to Peter's spider sense.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
other ways to take him down. So then what about speed and agility? Can he take him down that way? I mean, this is Spider-Man. That is like his bread and butter. Well, he's fast enough to dodge Green Goblin's little spinning blades. He's dodged some bullets before, dodge attacks from Doc Ock. It's just so clean and smooth with the way he moves. I think it's pretty easy to say that Spider-Man is better than Carnage here. But the problem is that, like, Carnage isn't bad. In fact, he's probably just as fast, agile as his daddy Venom. I really don't like that I just said daddy Venom. Please, please don't roast me in the
I
comments.
mean, Venom technically is his dad.
And so I think it's gonna...
I mean, that's not really much of a surprise though, because it's like Carnage is typically above Venom in stats. So like,
Yeah.
I mean,
and then
so what-
Toxin is above both of them.
play out
Can
just
you
the same
rip
way as when Spider-Man fought
forcefully
his
without
Venom. Sure, he
literally comparing apples to oranges.
still might be a bit faster, but Venom can hang in there to a point where it almost doesn't even really matter. And I expect the same thing from Carnage here. I think he's going to do the same exact thing. However, I think one of the biggest things, and where we go from here, is just their versatility. Like, Spider-Man's got his webbing, but it didn't do much against Venom. I don't expect it to do much here. Like, you tell me that this is going to make a lick of difference against this guy.
It will make a lick of difference against
It
this
will.
guy.
because
He's
of
got a
his
spider
strong-
sense,
They can
and
use
that'll
the
help him
spider
not
web, they can
freaking
move
die
around.
right away. But it's really Carnage that I want to focus in on here. Carnage can
Like,
shapeshift
the-
and shoot out tentacles. He can grow
Carnage
to
Toby
absolutely
Carnage.
massive size, like building size. He can form a freaking tornado, but his go-to is just shooting out or throwing around swords and spikes, axes and knives, all at once, all over the place. So, end of the day, who's coming out on top here? Who's going to claim that W? I think it's got to be Carnage. I mean, I just don't think that Spider-Man is strong enough or tough enough in order to beat all this. I mean, Venom nearly killed him a couple times. Probably would have killed him if Harry hadn't swooped in there to help both times. You don't think Carnage can do the same thing?
No, because they scale differently.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this video aged like cheese, but it probably wasn't even all that good to begin with. So
Also, Toby's Peter has precog, so he can use that to his advantage. Because this is a Sony Venom, or Sony's Venom. So they can
I mean,
clearly
apparently
use
the
it against
spider
him.
sense wouldn't make a difference, according to him. So it's rough, but
It's just a false
And even
equivalency.
if-
Like, equivalent this Carnage to Venom from Toby's universe. It's not when different contexts, different moments leading up to it, you just can't quantify them as being equals or better at that point.
You literally can't, but... I'm trying to find this fucking video again. I don't know if I can.
I think you saved it to your watch later, did you?
Oh,
Save it to your watch later?
no, I don't think I did do that. I don't really do that sort of thing, so I always just forget. Wait, what's that? Did someone put a video in the Discord server that we could watch?
Yeah, I think someone did. Wait, try going to his channel and probably that could work.
Nah, probably not. He posts so many fucking videos, it's not even close.
Yeah.
Anyway, I am gonna go for a piss, but what video do you want to watch?
What type, though? Because I can think of a lot. Say it again?
Yeah, surprise me. It's like a fight or a review or something like that.
Okay, I'm just going to take a look at it. Just 1 sec.
Yeah, no worries.
Carnage is slightly superior than Hardy's Venom. Hardy's Venom is a part of the MCU. He is not part of the MCU anymore.
Also saying that he scales to Tom based on, like, no evidence, it's like, that's not a good thing. I'm just gonna go for a piss, I'll be right back.
I mean, the biggest thing people need to understand with Venom as a character is that Sony changed the lore so much that you can't quantify even Sony Venom to, like, how he is in the comics, let alone most adaptations.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where the whole point of Venom is that he's an alien. He attaches to Peter, he assimilates his powers and, mimics him. And he would have been strong if he stayed with Peter, but Peter didn't want him and found Eddie Brock, which basically made him almost a mere copy, but stronger. That's all Venom is. Without that, you practically have if Venom bond with a regular human, he would just be how he is in the Venom Sonyverse, where he's weaker. He probably amps a human, but he doesn't amp him like beyond Spider-Man level. That's how I always seen it.
The thing is, though, like, I try my best to compare, at least from what I see it as, like, Venom's lore has changed so much to the point where people don't even know what story is real or not, or
I think that
anymore.
I think the best stories you can practically do for Venom is like Spectacular Spider-Man, just to get people introduced to the character.
Yeah,
and I would say Insomniac if you want to give them like a fresh take, but not necessarily the classic take. But I would say Spectacular, the '90s shows, is the best way to portray Venom.
Yeah, I think for me it was Spectacular. For me, it was Spectacular first. Like, I already saw Spider-Man 3, but I saw Spectacular, and I saw a little bit of Unlimited here and there.
Well, Unlimited gives you, like, the quick backstory. Like, it tells you exactly who Venom is to Peter, what happened, but it's, like, it's very, like, it's a 1 minute recap of who Venom is to Peter and all that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just one of those things where people, like Riff says, sometimes don't either care about the comics or don't know that much outside of what is shown on screen. Some people don't even care about cartoons because they think it's childish, despite the fact most of it is probably better than live action.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, like, here's my whole entire, like, issue with that is, like, when people say that, well, this is, like, the thing that I always come back to is, like, when people say that Insomniac Venom isn't comic accurate and that Eddie's Venom, well, then explain how this works to me, because, like, other people have had it.
Yeah, tell me what it is.
Like there's been other hosts. Like there's been multiple hosts. His lore has changed a lot. The story goes from host to host. So, like,
I mean, the best way to look at it is that Eddie Brock is the original host that was supposed to be like like who Venom was supposed to be hosted by outside of Peter, and that every other host was just temporary because Eddie didn't want him at the time.
Yeah, because, like, every single time whenever that happens, I'm just like, so obviously this proves that you guys just like one host. Like,
like, the best way to look at it is that Venom's perfect host technically is Peter, but because Peter doesn't want him, Venom is, like, looking for a better host. And if I were to, like, put it like this, it's like genetically they're almost meant to be together in that sense, but it's like, but it's one of those things with Venom. you're like, it's like having a girlfriend relationship. Like, you might find the girl of your dreams, but they don't want you. So you have to find like someone who actually loves you for you, and that's pretty much what Eddie is to Venom in the comics.
Yeah. Shade. Do you think do you think it would have been awesome if Peter bonded to Toxin in the comics?
Could be.
No, because that would have been a little too over the top.
It would be cool, but it would be a little bit broken at the same time.
I've actually got an interesting topic. It may or may not be a bit one-sided because I haven't researched Metal Gear in a hot minute. Anti-Venom versus Raiden.
That one's tough because we don't know how much Raiden, I would say, scales to like Metal Gears, which can tank nukes, so that's city level, and there is light speed reaction in the verse. So, and then his blade can destroy cells like molecules.
Yeah, it's like a subcellular level or something like that.
I would say Raiden then.
Well, it's one of those things where if Peter has the anti-venom with regeneration, it doesn't matter how many times he cuts him up, unless like he cuts Peter's limbs off and Peter doesn't like attach them very quickly, or he just somehow moves so fast that Peter like gets disintegrated through hundreds of thousands of slashes.
Yeah.
Arkham Batman was listening to Brain. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, this is something. Yeah.
But it's logic with
feeling for that game is stupid.
Wolverine and Raiden, it's like that logic where you're using a certain version of the character that may not be a good match just as of yet. I think it would be if Peter had like more solid scaling of being city level and having faster than light reaction speed. In that case, it just comes down to like who can who's more skilled and who's more intelligent, which Peter's
I kind of
intelligent,
agree.
Raiden.
Which Metal Gear, which Raiden, Metal Gear, or Mortal Kombat? Metal Gear. I can't find the video, so we'll have to watch someone react to it, so...
Wait a second. Wait, try going to the description. Let's see if it's actually in the link.
I don't know if he will tag it. No, he hasn't tagged it, unfortunately, but... We'll see. I'm curious to see what the worst take on Marvel Spider-Man 2 is going to be, because we've heard some pretty shitty takes.
I was taking care of the family. I did find some salt that...
I'll just ask the chat right now. What do you how would you rank the Insomniac Spider-Man games, worst to best?
I would say 1 for me is 9. I would say Marvel Spider-Man, for Miles Morales, an 8.5, maybe a 9 if you consider it in some instances. And then Spider-Man 2, even though it has some flaws, I think it's still a 9. It still did well enough.
Potato, by the way, I tried finding that video, I couldn't find it, so which channel did you put it in? I looked for that video and I couldn't find it.
Oh, God. The Wolverine and Deadpool final trailer is out.
Oh, cool.
Wait.
We'll probably make it up to you guys, but you know what? Just to let you guys know, I'm going to make it up to you guys this weekend. This weekend,
I would have to
say,
I would put Spider-Man 2, then PS4, then Miles.
Yeah, I'd probably say that. Well, if you want me to be completely honest, for the different versions, I'd say PS4 is worst, then Miles Morales, then Remastered, then Spider-Man 2. If you want to, if you're factoring in every version.
Oh, it depends. The remaster, I just call it PS4 because
But yeah, it's
PS.
I just love the remastered version because the graphics are way better.
Yeah.
And what really rubs me the wrong way is that I played the PS4 version. I'm seeing the old face compared to the new one. I'm every time I look back at it, it's I want that old face, but I understand why they changed the new to the new one.
Yeah.
It depends. I like the new face now because at first I liked the old model. After hold on a minute, it looks way better here. So I was
But anyway, let's get to this very spicy take and see if it's any
somewhere
good.
Around the afternoon time, somewhere around there, to all you beautiful people, and we're going to be roasting some fanboys. So if you guys are interested in that, just come stop by the stream on Saturday. Other than that, guys, please, before we dive right into this video, please make sure to go grab yourself a snack and a nice little drink. And hey, if you enjoy this type of content, please leave a like and comment in the comment section. I always like talking to you guys, and if you want more of this type of content, subscribe to the channel. I'll definitely be bringing some more content to you guys for your enjoyment and just make you laugh and just kind of what the hell is wrong with these fanboys? Just the type of typical thing I like to do. So other than that, let's go ahead and dive right into the content.
It looks as if Spider-Man 2 on the PS5 is having a number of issues upon release. It isn't downloading correctly. I'm seeing people complain about wokeness. I'm seeing people complain about the declining quality from the first game in general. And then there are people like me who would never, ever support the game to begin with because it has Miles Morales.
Okay.
Sorry.
That is racist.
That is just that's just racist. Okay.
Sorry. It's literally just synthetic man all over again.
Okay.
Like, the moment you say that, you lost all credibility.
Like the way that you say that, I was going to end after that I realized Miles thing. It's like
Okay, well,
so you lost all credibility for your voice at that point.
Okay, well, I was about to say he doesn't support it because it's not on Nintendo Switch, but then he dropped that gold mine. Oh, bloody. Okay.
Honestly, at that point, I'm like, run that back, please.
Okay, let's give him. He might be referring to the actual character and not the skin color. I'm holding out. I am Toby, holding on for dear life, holding back the train right now.
That said the exact same thing. He's like, Miles in this game. I didn't play the game for obvious reasons.
I am holding back the train right now. I'm hoping that.
Oh my god!
Hey, besides the
I'm
general
looking at the video
problems
right
that he
now. I'm
was
looking at some of
mentioning,
the subtitles. He mentions Miles just being an freaking
bloody
like someone
hell.
who is racial. He mentions that. Oh my god! You know, even if he means the character, this is still fucked up.
We'll see.
That I kind of agree with that. There is a lot of problems going on with Spider-Man 2. But, Harmon?
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 on launch, definitely. I'd probably say it had the worst launch out of the Insomniac games, but that's not really that bad, considering I don't think any of them had bad launches. Like, they were...
I think Miles had the best launch.
Go ahead.
I think Miles had the best launch because it had New Game Plus from the get-go. Spider-Man PS4 took some time, but it had DLC come out. I think Spider-Man 2, like you said, Rift, is the worst.
Yeah, I think Spider-Man 2 was the worst, purely because, well, number one, the performance. You know, there were graphical issues, there were bugs, that kind of thing. But also, it didn't have New Game Plus. It had, like, a few things that were missing. But yeah, like, it still had a good launch. Like, I wouldn't... It's not like Cyberpunk or anything.
It depends. I didn't have any bugs up until... I only had, like, a couple of bugs. The bugs that I do remember is, for some odd reason... You know that part where Miles gets galvanized?
Yeah.
Yeah, for some odd reason, I pressed the buttons and it wouldn't work. And after that,
I mean...
The other one that I had was in the corrupted Venom fight.
I mean, the only glitch that I really experienced was Spider Cube, but that's, like, not a glitch. That just makes the game objectively better, so...
I will
For
say
the love
this,
of God.
I got the disc for Spider-Man 2, and I played it like without updating, and when I got to like the final like boss of Venom, even with the Kraven boss fight, there's like Venom's jaw is like disoriented. Like when you play it on like the disc version with no updates, it's jarring, like completely jarring. Venom's design, you should cringe.
I'm just gonna say this right now, they better bring back Spider Cube for the third game. Anyway, let's continue.
But, Harmon, for the love of God, please do not go down the fucking path that I am thinking that you're going down right now. For the love of God, please don't do it.
Who is not Spider-Man, right? When I buy a Spider-Man game, I want to play as Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Not,
well, you can.
Not some, like, wannabe, like, cosplayer that, like, the self-insert character for the writers, okay?
Oh, thank God.
Oh, so MJ.
So he
So MJ, he just said self-insert.
You do play as Peter though. Like, look, here he is. He's right there.
He said Spider-Man, right? He says he wants to play Spider-Man, right?
He is Spider-Man.
You're playing Spider-Man.
You're playing as Peter.
God, I really thought he was going to go down a darker route than this. Like, I'm not going to be surprised if he really did. I was just like, I had a little, higher expectations of Harmon Smith not going down that route, but let's be honest here, it's Harmon Smith. But, dude,
I'm going to have to turn into the flash real quick, so keep the video playing.
Why? What are you doing?
He's got to turn to the Flash. It's just saying he's got to go.
Oh, gotcha.
You know.
Puffer versus Spider Cube, the ultimate matchup.
Miles is a self-insert character. That's rich coming from you. Because if anyone has read his books...
So I'm going to take a guess that he didn't play the Miles Morales game, so he just thinks that Miles came out of nowhere. He's just magically surpassed Peter. Like, I honestly think that's the main issue with people who criticize Spider-Man 2 too much. I just think they didn't play... Well, some of them probably didn't play any of the games, like, let's be honest. But also, I think most of them just didn't play Miles Morales. They think that, like, he's a Gary Sue, he's, like, insanely strong, just out of nowhere. It's like, no, if you, and, like, yeah, you can argue he's stronger than Peter, but, like, if you play the Miles Morales game, you know that this guy is not Peter. He ain't that guy. Yeah. He messes up a lot.
When someone never does that, I just send them your video on does Miles as plot armor.
Yeah, like, pretty much. Like, he messes up so many times.
Yeah, he really likes to self-insert himself into his own little pretend world. Like, I tried looking online to see if, Miles is truly a self-insert character, but I see no evidence even supporting that at all. But let's be honest, this is Harmon Smith. Anything this man says can be easily fucking debunked by fucking using Google easily.
It's interesting to see, like...
As the Ackman would say, consult Dr. Google.
Kind of the narrative around Spider-Man 2 fall apart, because for the past couple of months, people were hyping this up as the next major release for PlayStation. This was going to be the big thing. This was going to stop Mario. This was going to be like...
I mean, before he goes into the, fucking Photoshop that, because, like, for context, for anyone who's unfamiliar with this guy, he thinks that, like, basically every single non-Nintendo game is somehow like an Illuminati agenda to take down Nintendo. Like, he has, like, really fucking weird headcanon. But, PlayStation didn't really have that many impressive games releasing last year. And, like, Spider-Man 2 was, like, the GOAT for, like, in terms of its release. Like, people were hyped for it, so...
I'll say this really pisses me off with some people, is that they say Spider-Man 2 didn't win two, like, award, like, they were nominated for 2018 and 2023. They didn't win anything. I'm just like, so you're saying the quality of the game is bad just because they were nominated, they didn't win? Despite...
I feel as though people who take the Game Awards seriously, like this fucker, it's like they don't mean anything. Like, it's just for fun.
Wait, what was he saying?
He was saying how, like, there's a... I'll just rewind it. Well, anyway, I'll just say he's about to spout some bullshit about how apparently Spider-Man was intended to take down, like, Pokemon or some shit.
What does Pokemon have to do with it?
He's a Nintendo fanboy. Anytime something is remotely good, it has to be an Illuminati agenda to take down Nintendo.
See, like, kind of the narrative around Spider-Man 2 fall apart, because for the past couple of months, people were hyping this up as the next major release for PlayStation. This was going to be the big thing. This was going to stop Mario. This was going to be, like, a huge deal.
Yeah, hey, Harmon.
Well, like, if anyone unironically thinks that it was going to stomp Mario, you're insane. But also, like, who the fuck was saying that? Like, I don't think anyone was saying that. Because they're completely different genres. It's stupid.
Exactly.
It's like, the only time that I think a game legitimately stomped another was, I think, Elden Ring stomped Horizon Forbidden West. Because it came out a week later, they were similar genres, and Elden Ring just completely dominated, like, the public reception. And obviously, it won Game of the Year, and, like, Horizon, it wasn't even in contention. And obviously, the Game Awards don't matter, it's just for fun. But this guy religiously takes it seriously, which is why I bring up the Game Awards, because it's hilarious.
I mean, the funny thing about that, too, is, like, I think God of War Ragnarok was up there, too. So, like, Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok both pushed Forbidden West out.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at it, the best way to look at it is if you were to say it as, oh, the Game Awards mean that everyone likes or hates this one thing. No, and even if that were the case, that a majority, like, likes or dislikes something, that doesn't mean they're right, anyway.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's kind of like, and I don't understand why people use like the copies sold argument as if it means anything, because like by that logic, like FIFA and Madden would be like everyone's favorite game, but obviously that's not true. Just because they sell a lot, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, you can have people buy Call of Duty left and right, even though every game since, like, the really good ones, like, have been, like, years ago, and they're just keep buying the same stupid garbage.
That's what I'm
on
trying
Twitter,
to figure out. Like, people buy the exact
Google,
same sports game
YouTube
almost every
videos,
year.
pretty much everything that you could think of right now. No one has been saying that Spider-Man 2 will beat Mario Wonder. There is nothing there. Please, for the love of God, on future videos, if you're watching this for somehow, please show us. All we hear is this maniac on this video saying, they say my favorite franchise and my Lord and Savior Nintendo is being criticized, and supposedly it just sounds like you're delusional. For the love of God, next time, please show me the evidence.
Like,
yeah, pretty much.
you know, get those pre-order numbers in. Mario was outselling it on Amazon. When we saw those review scores, Mario outperformed it. When we saw, like, the games themselves, like, it was pretty obvious, like, to everyone, that wasn't a complete snoy, that Mario was the far superior game.
Okay, as far as...
Okay, so...
I'm gonna let that sit there.
So once again, copies sold doesn't mean anything, because if that was the case, then you would really like mobile gaming, because it has more players than Switch gaming, but obviously that's not the case.
Yeah.
Review scores doesn't mean shit, especially because Nintendo games have, like, specific, sources that consistently, like, give them free hand jobs. Like, for example, Tears of the Kingdom, they had, like, 7 different Nintendo people that gave the game a 100 out of 100. Just for shits and giggles. So, yeah, the fact that... And the hilarious thing about that is that there are some games that aren't Nintendo, like Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate 3, that actually surpass them in terms of, like, Metacritic scores, even though the Nintendo games have, like, all these free hand jobs, but the other games don't. So, if anything, it's actually a pretty insane, impressive feat. Not that it matters, because, again, you can have, like, a game that's, like, take, like, Skyrim, for example. It's like a 95 or some shit. I don't like Skyrim. It's not my kind of game. So, like, these scores just don't matter. You know, it's like...
The best thing you can say about the scores is that they're an indicator of what specifically people like and what people don't like. So it just gives you an idea if this game is worth buying based on the genre you're into.
And again, like, again, the whole, like, Mario is, like, a bigger IP than Spider-Man. Well, not necessarily Spider-Man, but, like, the game specifically. It's like, yeah, no shit. Like, love them or hate them, pretty much every Nintendo IP is huge. But again, like, copies sold doesn't mean shit. It's like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet probably outsold Spider-Man 2, but they were, like, technical nightmares. You know, they had poor FPS, graphical issues, the works, really.
As I see on Metacritic right now, which you hate and love all the time if it's not in favor of Nintendo, it's only got 1 point above Spider-Man, which is perfectly fine. Technically, can you please tell me where you got that information about how there was more pre-orders for Mario Wonder than...
Wait, what's Shade? What are you guys debating?
Spider-Man 2? I'm very curious because I'm on Google right now trying to search through all of it, even trying to...
Telltale Batman goated.
On Amazon too, but I can't find this definitive answer saying, hey, you know, Mario Wonder had more pre-orders than Spider-Man 2. Now you sitting there fucking comparing Spider-Man 2, which is an action-adventure game...
He sounds like Krusty the Clown when he does that voice.
To Mario Wonder, which is a side-scroller platform game, which... really doesn't make sense in this situation because they're two different genres in the video game atmosphere. One offers a fucking action-adventure game, and the other is a side-scroller platform where you jump on platforms, gain power-ups, all the stuff that you do in Mario. These two franchises are too different to compare to each other. Maybe if they did a side-scrolling Spider-Man game, kind of like the Mario, maybe you could do that. Maybe you could compare it to Mario Odyssey in this situation. But even that within itself doesn't even work in this situation either.
It led me down this rabbit hole of like research, realizing that like Mario is actually a bigger brand than Spider-Man.
The fact that you had to research that at all, like, are you fucking crazy? What do you mean?
That's weird. Why do you have to research?
Why do you have to research that? It's literally common
why
sense.
do you have to research that? It's easy. It's an easy concept.
Well, again, it's like, it depends as well, because it's like, I feel like Spider-Man is probably a more well-known character than Mario, but outside of the games. But, like, if we're talking gaming, then yeah, Mario's more well-known than Spider-Man, so, like, kind of depends. Like, that's how I would view it anyways.
Right, and also Shade Hunter says that they were Debating if
Disagreement's open, yeah, right. Well, yeah, disagreements are open. Do you have a disagreement? Get yourself in VC, we can debate it.
Shade said, Shade was wondering, Shade said, well...
If the Suicide Squad had plot armor, yes. They had too much plot armor. If you want to open that can of worms, I am more than happy to.
And it's hold on a minute. Their plot armor is literally just them just standing there.
They should have died multiple times to every single League member. It's not even close.
Actually, there should be only like one moment where they should have killed Superman. There should have been like one moment where I'll actually allow them to.
I mean, this is the strangest thing about it. Some people are saying the Justice League was nerfed. No, they weren't. In fact, they were amplified.
Yeah, they were made stronger. Like, what do you mean?
Like, I'm just saying that every excuse you give in the book actually makes it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for that moment, Seth. Like Seth, you have to. Well, I'm not sure if you actually are gonna do, or if you're gonna agree or disagree. The moment where Superman's on the sidewalk, that should be the only moment where I will actually allow them to kill.
I agree with you. If they actually, imagine if, say, Boomerang used the Speed Force Gauntlet, grabbed the Kryptonite, and stabbed him in the head multiple times with it while he was disoriented.
Yeah.
Realizing
I'm agreeing. It's just them doing nothing is worse than just it was just stupid for them just to stand there and be like, oh, we're gonna stand up to you while doing nothing.
JB said that the squad didn't have plot armor. Yeah, they did have plot armor.
There was no way. My God.
All right, okay, JB, I'll give you specific points in the story, and I want you to defend them. Okay. So let me just read your comment. They didn't have plot armor. The squad used gadgets to take away the League members' strength. They didn't take away the League members' strength. They had means to counter them, but that doesn't mean anything. So let me give you an example. So Green Lantern casually restrained all of them at once. Why didn't they die in that situation?
And there's multiple problems with Batman as well.
Flash easily overwhelmed all of them at once, and it wasn't anything special. It's like even Wonder Woman, who's number one, Wonder Woman wasn't conditioned, so she was at her base strength, and she was able to kick everyone's ass, multiple times.
So, let me go over this so that everyone has a clear idea. Even though they had the Speed Force gadgets to prevent Flash from getting near them, Flash can throw stuff at them faster than the speed of light before they can react to it. Even if you want to say their brain is improved by the AI, they still can't move at those speeds if Flash is moving faster than them.
And that's actually a really good point. So you're saying oh, they had gadgets. So if you gave me a lump of kryptonite, do you expect me to take on Superman? It's no, he can just heat vision me from a distance.
Well, it's not just that. If you look at Green Lantern, if he grabbed them the way he did at the beginning of the game, even with those yellow lantern batteries, it's linked to their guns. So unless they can shoot the constructs while they're in that state, which their arms are shackled downwards, they're screwed. They're done. There's no way you can get out of that.
Anyway, let's continue with this.
Within itself doesn't even work in this situation either.
It led me down this rabbit hole of research, realizing that Mario is actually a bigger brand than Spider-Man, realizing that we've seen a huge decline in sales over Spider-Man over the past several years, realizing that the Mario movie is better than Spider-Man. It did far better than any Spider-Man movie.
Hang on a second.
When?
Hang on a second. So, Super Mario... Also, once again, money generated doesn't mean shit. Frozen 2 made a lot of...
I love this movie, though.
No Way Home made more than all...
Well, here's the thing. Frozen 2 made, over $1 billion just because it was called Frozen 2. Can you tell me a freaking thing about that film?
I don't really know a thing about that film. So
I can name you How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, and I can tell you everything that happens.
$1.3 billion. Spider-Man Far From Home. Sales.
Like, even No Way Home.
1.132.
Like, even No Way Home.
From Home.
Yeah, I would.
I already did Far From Home. I meant No Way Home. Oh, okay, never mind. Worldwide box.
Okay,
Yeah, so it's not even close. So yeah, he's just chatting out his ass.
You know, realizing that like.
Also, if you want to include Endgame, because Endgame contains Spider-Man, that also outclassed it.
The people who are praising Spider-Man are just hopping on a bandwagon and have no real inclination to like play video games at all.
I'm gonna bet all
The fuck? Like, what? It's so dumb, I hate it.
my Nintendo Switch games and all the cookies
like
in the cookie
saying-
jar right now that you have not touched Spider-Man.
I hate when people do this. They're like, oh, they just gas up Spider-Man, like, for no reason. It's like, maybe people like him. Like,
yeah, maybe a lot of people like him.
To
Maybe
at all.
also, aspiring legend, rather than being a smartass, do you actually have a disagreement?
And on top of that too, your research is absolutely dog shit. You want to know why? As
I'm not gonna lie, the black and white 2099 suit looks great.
of currently
I don't know, I
right
rock
now,
the
the
Hasbro
Super
suit
Mario
with it.
movie right now has only generated $1.36 billion versus Spider-Man No Way Home, $1.89 billion. And yes, you may be right about the situation that Mario is a much popular franchise than Spider-Man, but the fact is, the reason why Mario is more popular than Spider-Man is due to the fact that Mario is more family-friendly than Spider-Man.
Like, it's kind of like the Baldur's Gate 3 thing again, where like
yeah,
you just
yeah.
have a bunch of people trying to like meme this game into being successful. Like, oh, if we just like type Baldur's Gate 3 onto Twitter over and over again, that'll create the illusion that the game is popular and talked about, right?
Please, for the love of God, let Baldur's Gate 3 win Game of the Year. Please. Please, I want to see
I love how he does this. He basically brings up like fucking everything to try and justify a point. Like, what does Baldur's Gate 3 have to do with Spider-Man?
I don't even
Harmon
know.
squirm again. I wanted to seem like when
It's like with the Elden Ring video that I made on this guy a while ago, where like he brought up Pokemon and Power World and like Digimon and stuff. It's like, what the hell did they have to do with the topic?
Ring
I
one
think
game.
the whole point he's making is that if you spout a lot about something, then it becomes popular.
This is why you script your videos, or you don't do them all in one take. Because when you do it all in one take, you inevitably spout some bullshit.
of the year last year, I want him to see him squirm and have it live rent-free, like the neighboring to fucking Elden Ring in this situation. It'd be perfect, because
Yeah, he's gonna bring up Elden Ring or some shit, like...
Oh,
it's like...
every single
what does Elden Ring
fucking
again? What does Elden Ring have to do with Spider-Man?
Fucking no idea.
video he puts out, he always brings up Baldur's Gate. I don't understand why. Probably because it's not an exclusive to his precious Nintendo Switch.
You know, it reminded me a lot of that. Like, Spider-Man is basically like the PlayStation equivalent of Starfield, right? A game that has a ton of...
Again,
What?
what does Starfield have to do with anything? Like he may as well, like, it would be like if I was making a video, it would be like if I reviewed the Spider-Man PS4 game, and I'm like, yeah, this game does something really good, but Lego Star Wars for the DS did it better. It's like, who cares?
problem.
Like, honestly,
that
what does
very few
Starfield have
people
to
are
do?
talking about.
Starfield is a planet traveling
Purely
from what I
because
have
it's an
seen.
exclusive, right? Like, the issue...
Wait.
Spider-Man is basically like the PlayStation equivalent of Starfield, right? A game that has a ton of problems that very few people are talking about purely because it's an exclusive, right? Like, the issue with...
It's almost as if you do the exact same thing for everything Nintendo related. Also, good contradiction, because at the start of the video you're like, so people are talking about how this game's woke and how Mars is in it. So, like, how are people talking criticisms, but then apparently they're not criticizing it? Interesting.
They're mainly criticizing it because they're adding side missions to their arguments. So it's like, where does that even go?
Like, again, this is why you don't do your videos in one take, because you just end up contradicting yourself.
Baldur's Gate 3 is that it's a PC exclusive. The issue with Starfield is that
Baldur's Gate isn't a PC exclusive. At least well, it was to start off with, but I don't think it is anymore. I think they released it on PlayStation.
it's a Microsoft exclusive. The issue with Spider-Man is that it's a PlayStation exclusive. You
For now, it's going to be on PC at some point.
have all of these games that are exclusive to one or two platforms, right? You have these games that are just
So why aren't you keeping the same energy for all the Nintendo exclusives that you hype up?
religiously defended by certain people who simply will not admit their flaws at all.
Say it again. Say that to my fucking face.
Religiously defended by certain people who simply will not admit their flaws at all.
Didn't he just admit his flaws?
I think the irony that he just did.
The lack of self-awareness is amazing.
All the fucking videos I have ever covered on you, Harmon Smith, this statement that
Well, the hilarious thing about all of this is that if Spider-Man 2, by some fucking miracle, was able to come out on the Switch, he wouldn't, hate it. Guaranteed.
you just said
Because
to
Miles isn't.
everybody.
Well, no, I'm guaranteed the main reason he hates it is because it's not on Switch.
On YouTube, you could have said multiple other things. You could have cut this out, whatever. This was the stupidest, most hypocritical thing you have ever said on this platform. There are so many things that you can criticize Spider-Man 2 and call out the fanboys for absolutely saying this is the most perfect game of this generation. But you go out and you say this on YouTube. Like, I'm just going to admit it right now. That statement that you just made right there, it's just enough for me to stop making this video and just beg to God, like, this has to be a joke video. He can't be serious. But you know what, though, guys? I know for a fact that he's serious. You want to know why? Because we've covered him multiple times in other videos, and we all know he's dead serious. And if you're new to the channel, go look at my previous videos I've covered about Harmon. You'll see exactly what I mean in this type of situation. But anyway, thank you guys very much for watching this video.
Pretty
because
much.
I'm going to go ahead.
Jesus Christ.
I'm so surprised though.
What do you
How
mean?
did you-
I'm not. I mean, I'm still getting over the Miles comment a little bit, but
I mean, I'm still confused on where that was even going. So,
well, his videos never really go anywhere. His videos just go down to "Duh, product overrated, Mario better." Duh." It's like,
okay, at least it's not synthetic video.
I thought it would be when he said Miles is in it. I got so scared. I bet if Spider-Man 2 was a Switch exclusive, he'd glaze it. Yeah, exactly. But obviously that's not going to happen, because the Nintendo Switch is fucking inferior to a base Xbox One, so obviously it's not going to run this game.
Right.
Right, what now? We have a lot of things we can watch.
Alright, well, let's see. So what else do you have? What else did you have in mind?
It was
I mean-
mainly just the Danko side of things, which we've already watched.
I
Yeah.
just don't like watching stuff that makes my brain melt. Like, just hearing it and then just trying to correct people who make that conclusion.
Watch
there is-
Synthetic, man. No!
No.
No, I refuse.
Because there are times where I've actually talked with, say, someone who just agrees with, say, like, Ultimate Joker, for example, and it just, like, melts my brain.
Sorry for my
Like,
earlier
it's
comment.
like-
I did
I
feel
mean, it
like
melts
your
everybody's
line to yourself
brain.
reply was childish and unreasonable. How is it childish and unreasonable? Like,
What?
What's unreasonable?
no. So there was a guy who joined the chat a while ago that was like, disagreements open. Yeah, right. And like laughing face. I was like, yeah, you can, rather than being a prick, you can join VC and discuss
Like-
disagreements. But rather than being a smartass, but.
Like, if you disagree, show up. Like, no one's stopping you. In fact, just being a prick about it just proves the point that you really got nothing to say.
Oh, I found it! I found it! We found the
you
video!
find it.
Spider-Man Peter
From-
Parker 2 has failed PS5 owners.
Spider-Man Miles Morales is not a new game.
Fuck it hell. Like, the thumbnails just wind me up as well.
Well, we already
I thought
saw that for a debunk video. Miles Morales is not a new game.
Have we already watched that?
Nah.
Should we watch them? But fuck it, we'll watch them both. Maybe. I don't know.
It looks as if Spider-Man 2 on the PS5 is having a number of issues.
Oh, yeah, I already checked this out from the
I'm hearing
debunking video.
reports that like there's an installation problem where the game isn't playable.
I feel like this is the video we literally just watched.
It is.
For fuck's sakes. I'll see if he says something else. Hold on.
I'll play Baldur's Gate 3, right? Like, if... You know, I can understand why certain people might be attracted to these games, even if the games aren't good, right? But with Spider-Man, like, there really is no justification for it, right? It's basically just, oh, it's Spider-Man, right? Like, it's Spider-Man!
A friendly reminder, this guy has way more subs than Ultimate Joker.
Like,
but I'm not too sure how.
Okay, but what's the
I mean, that's
gameplay?
way
Like,
better
it's
than Ultimate
Spider-Man! But
Joker.
okay,
Better than
what's the story like? Is it written by actual... Oh, it's Spider-Man! Okay, but...
Jesus Christ. Yeah, we're gonna just gloss over that one. Right,
Morales, new game.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, we'll try find something fun, I guess.
I mean, there was the Danko one. We got the 7. We got Homelander versus the 7, but I don't know if you want to...
Honestly, I don't really want to bother because I think we already know the answer.
Yeah,
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
much.
I think there was one that someone sent in the chat, but I don't know if you want to look at, Alex Mercer.
I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but there's this video saying Elden Ring DLC exposed the gaming industry by Mannix. Have you seen that yet?
Wait, which one
No.
was that?
I'll send it in the Discord.
I know that I remember seeing, oh no, it's Alex.
Like,
debunking
I think
Manic.
it's pretty
I forgot what
funny
it was.
like, about all the BS, but I'm not sure if because I haven't seen this video yet. I just know that people think he's funny, and he either speaks facts or he talks out of his ass sometimes. But I'll send it within the chat.
Wait, was it about the whole entire difficulty spike?
Yeah, pretty much. Like expose the
no.
industry. Yeah, I was just looking at it. I just saw it come up.
All right,
Not
let's
sure.
give it a try.
I still think that's a little bit weird though, because like, here's the thing with the whole entire difficulty spike for that. If they're going to buff the bosses in the DLC, and this is what I've heard, the devs heard every single fan say that the game was really easy, so they were just like, okay, so let's make the DLC extremely difficult.
Wait, which game is this? Is this Elden Ring?
Yeah, Elden, the DLC.
Like, who was saying that the first game's bosses were easy, though?
Everybody.
Really?
Everybody was saying the main game's bosses were, the main game was very easy, so for the DLC, they heard that and were like,
Ace,
what?
if you...
The DLC harder than the main
It's in
game.
the chat for the live stream.
Oh, is it? Bear me a sec. Bear me a sec. Elden Ring DLC exposed the gaming industry.
Shadow
oh,
of the Erdtree is
Oh, it's a short one. That's what she said.
Yeah.
I've heard that one before.
Shadow of the Erdtree is now literally the Dark Souls of Elden Ring. You can call it poetry. No, wait a second. You can call it Cuphead in 3D. Because remember when that games journalist couldn't figure
I mean, completely different genres, but okay.
out how to jump over a 2D block in Cuphead? Yeah, we have similar in here today. Now hit the like button right now because it wouldn't be a Souls game if it didn't bring
Jesus Christ. Caught me off guard.
out the worst in people's egos. Now, some of the stuff I've been seeing has been
I
nothing
remember
short
playing
of
this, and I
pathetic,
couldn't make it
mixed with a
past
healthy
I couldn't
dose
even
of
make it past,
comedy.
like,
Because why do I feel like people came to
second
this
level,
DLC with the expectation that they were going to steamroll everything?
Yeah,
Because
it
I
has
don't
been good.
understand why everybody's trying to complete the game as fast as possible rather than learning. You know, if people are this
He's gonna get
mad,
one
then
shot
I think
randomly,
From
isn't he?
Software did their job. Now, the focus of today's video is a man by the name of Assman Gold. Yes, Asmongold. The guy's content, which I actually do like.
Fucking Jesus.
He finally realized that brute forcing with the build of spamming jump attacks with 2 halberds would make the last remaining 2 stringy hairs of his fall faster than him ever beating this DLC. So he actually adapted, which made me slow clap IRL. It was like watching a caveman finally discover that you can cook food with fire.
I mean, in fairness to Asmongold, he did beat the entire base game with this build, so...
Didn't need to just continually stick your hand right there in the flames, i.e. that you can play Elden Ring without spamming on autopilot. The amount of people I've seen just panic rolling, jump attacking, not diversifying their builds for new enemy types just blew my mind. These are the same people who say that the game is too hard. See,
There are 2 haters say the game is the same with the new story, and I said Baldur's Gate 3 is just too new. Is this too new of a story? Am I right?
Too hard. I think you're just one-dimensional and you don't understand the simplest portions of the game. And what's actually quite stunning is that a lot of these people have put countless hours into other Souls games, but they seem to never learn that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Just trying the same thing over and over again until they reach a point where they can't brute force a boss. And then they either quit or go somewhere else so they can become
It's not really... Is there a point to this?
Over-leveled and then once again brute force that same boss in the exact same way, instead of actually learning how to time their dodge properly.
DJB, if you want to join the VC, we can have a chat about it if you like.
Because I remember this one time he was talking about Last of Us 2, and he's like, how does my giant, ball sack, swollen dick on your forehead feel? And basically calling out Neil Druckmann and calling him a bunch of stuff. And even I was franchises too, including stuff in the media.
Yeah, Chaos, Shade, and DJ. If you want to all join VC, we can all have a debate as to whether the Suicide Squad had plot armor.
There's so many moments where I already know where
Or try a different strategy. What's crazy is most people are just ignoring the new level up system in the DLC. You need to explore.
Yeah, so the thing with the thing with this DLC is obviously it's kind of different to the other games where you couldn't just over level and go in and steamroll everything, because there's certain items in the DLC that you have to pick up to not only increase your damage but also to increase your defense and stuff. So I think that's the only difference with Shadow of the Erdtree compared to the Ring City, for example. There was specific items you needed to pick up, and obviously people on day one didn't know that, and they were like, "Oh, the game's fucking painfully difficult." It's well, you need to pick up the items, boy. But anyways, it is what it is. Yeah, that's pretty much. I want to see a Spider-Man 2 bad.
Spider-Man's not a masterpiece. We already know Spider-Man. I already ran into a review where someone just had glitches and calling the game bad.
Yeah. I think honestly the best thing about Spider-Man 2 is the edits. I don't know if you guys have seen Spider Edit Zephyr, I think that's what he's called, but he makes really good fucking Spider-Man edits.
I think I started doing my edits, but sadly I can't post one.
He's way better than me.
Music. Wait, Rift, how do you make your shorts?
Wondershare Filmora.
Okay, because I was wondering, because here's the thing with me. I want to post all my sources. There was one thing that I did where I pretty much used and this is gonna sound random. I used how that girl screams from. Have you seen Scream?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that part where the girl screams?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I used that and compiled it together with some random music, and it just came out right.
Fair enough. To be fair, all games like Elden Ring feel unfairly hard until you learn what to do. I mean, yeah, but you could say the same about any game. It's if you played, Insomniac Spider-Man games on ultimate difficulty, and you'd never played them before, you'd get your ass kicked, but you'd get better at the game. You know what you're doing, and they become more tolerable.
Comfortable when Black Cat showed up and didn't know why. My first ever game was Spider-Man 3 on the Game Boy Advanced, and my first movie I ever owned was Spider-Man 3. I remember being incredibly sad when my dentist told me Spider-Man 4 wasn't coming. Then, in 2016, after the reveal trailer, I made all of my profile pictures across every social media Insomniac Spider-Man, because I was so excited for it to come out. Finally, they were making a serious Spider-Man game, one that would treat the IP with respect and explore all of its aspects, rather than a marketable tie-in. And we almost got exactly that. Peter was competent, experienced, respected, but still humble, poor, and frankly very unlucky. There were aspects of his character that were entirely abandoned, like his angst or actually bullying enemies instead of making only self-deprecating jokes. The swinging was stiff, slow, and more visually interesting than mechanically deep, but for the most part I was happy with it.
Yeah, like, I don't know if Chaos will be able to join VC, because he's been having tech issues, but like, Shade and DJ, I don't mind debating the topic, and maybe A-Safe and Phoenix are down as well.
Especially because the world building left a lot of opportunities for the developers to continuously expand and elaborate until it became closer to the comics. Miles Morales is pretty good too, though the story barely added to the world, and its villain the Tinkerer was a retread of the themes of Marvel Spider-Man 1. So, going into Marvel Spider-Man 2, I was super excited to see where things were going next. Bear with me as I summarize quickly. I'll leave a timestamp if you remember everything that happened. Peter is having his first day as a teacher at Miles' school.
Okay, we'll just skip ahead a little bit.
Wait, pause for a second. I just thought about this for a second. I just randomly thought about this, and it kind of makes sense because when Peter got back, Miles said, "Hey, you could be a teacher."
Yeah, true. Yeah, he says that at the end of PS4 DLC, doesn't he?
Yeah.
No, he says it in the Miles game. After
Yeah, he says
Peter
in the Miles game. So it's
That's
more
it.
like,
Yeah. When Peter returns back. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, so it's more like they take the whole entire thing, because I just randomly had this idea I think one time, and I was like, you know that line in the Black Cat DLC where MJ told Peter that he could be a great dad?
Yeah, I'm really hoping that's the case in the third game.
I'm hoping that's the case too, but people don't want that.
No, it should. Like, here's the thing. At the very least, I want them to do it just to showcase Peter can be happy and kind of slap Marvel editorial in the face like Across the Spider-Verse did.
Yeah.
Like the
it's no news.
Right. Go and then move.
Yeah.
This story is both way too busy and way too short. I left out a few things, like Norman or Miles filler missions, but for the most part, these missions happen back to back with no to little character development, or time for the characters to become more than their initial motive. Especially not Miles, who is given a love interest that has no time to endear herself to the audience, and his motive remains to get into college and to stop Lee for all of Peter's story until his motivation shifts to stopping the symbiote. We're not given a significant moment of reflection or a message that conveys to us why Miles gives up on killing Lee. He simply does it because it's the right thing to do. Peter's arc is almost entirely a retread of Marvel Spider-Man 1. He's in Dreamland working with someone he looks up to a lot when a plot device makes them turn into a villain and pushes Peter to defeat his once friend. He's also not given time for us to ponder why he became so weak or angry.
Oh, bloody hell. He didn't become weaker.
There was a reason why Miles didn't kill Negative. He wanted to lure Peter there. He wanted to lure Peter to Kraven's arena.
Well, it's not just that. Miles was thinking about killing Lee that entire time. Like, it was on the cusp of, like, he was on the cusp of almost going bloodlust the whole fight. But the visions themselves actually made Miles self-reflect on everything he was missing out, his friends, his family. In a way, Lee was helping him by almost, like, reflecting what he's been doing. Like, he's no longer hanging out with his buddy Genki. He didn't see his girlfriend's, like, artistry at, like, Coney Island. He was basically pushing everything away. It was basically showing that what would happen if he continued down this path.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So another thing is that Lee didn't know. Well, Lee didn't know that Miles was Spider-Man at the time. So
also, DJB, if you don't fancy joining VC, that's fine. If you want to like just keep sending messages and stuff, I don't mind like replying to them.
But what I'm saying is, like, Miles' mother put it perfectly. You put away things that don't serve you. In other words, this need for vengeance is consuming you, and he realized that, yes, it will consume me if I go down this path.
Yeah,
so in a way, he avoided what Lee was going to do. So in a way, Miles broke the cycle of hatred between Norman, Lee, and then him. He broke it.
Yeah.
Potato, as an answer to your question, I don't think Peter and Silk are going to, like... I don't think that connection is going to happen with them in the games.
And to Peter's
the implication is that he's self-nerfed because of how sad May's death has made him. But this element is only referenced during the scene with Lee, after he already lost the symbiote, and wasn't present during any of the 3 DLCs for Spider-Man 1. It feels like they mixed up who should have had the symbiote entirely. Miles is more inexperienced, and has a stronger personal motive that would drive him to darker places. And Peter could have put what he learned from fighting his own mentor in the previous game into helping to redeem his student. Miles feels like a side character here. He has no connection to Harry, Kraven, or any of the villains that Kraven and brings into the fray. His missions are often in-betweens that set up for the next major Peter mission. While I do think that Peter's weakness is significantly explained, and decent subtext for his motivation, it doesn't feel right that Miles, who has no emotion or driving force, is more often the one who gets things done. The narrative doesn't do justice.
Well, aside from the fact that Peter takes down basically all of the villains, but, you know. What is VC? Voice chat.
To Peter, but I think it's worse that it includes Miles, only to treat him as a passenger in the story, or arguably, a plot device. His storyline treats him as inherently good, with little nuance, and he doesn't have conflicts with any of his supporting characters, who mostly just become set dressing, and by making him diametrically opposed with Peter, it becomes impossible.
Overcomes the death of his parental figure. I mean, he doesn't, but...
Never fails.
Like, he outright says, I won't forgive you, Lee. The whole point is that he's trying to not become the person that Lee is.
Never falls into temptation. Well, I mean, he did. Young and cool.
Balances his life without hurting his friend.
That is literally...
I'm not gonna act like Haley almost got taken over by a symbiote.
Yeah, like, the balances his life is complete bullshit, because, like, I'm pretty sure, Rio says that, like, he wants to... Like, he basically wants any opportunity he can get to, like, be Spider-Man and not be, Miles. Like, when Peter's there, she's like, all he ever talks about is trying to be a better Spider-Man. It's like, that doesn't seem like he's balanced his life at all.
Exactly.
But,
like I said, with that, it's more like Miles wants to be Spider-Man because he was a fan in the first game.
Sorry, go on, Asaf, what are you saying?
What I'm trying to say is that the whole point of the story is that Peter, or, like, Miles is in a more dark place in the sense that he's almost willing to go down the dark path, whereas Peter's kind of almost influenced to be down that path by the symbiote. You can't tell me that me or anyone else that Peter would act the way he is or go down the train of thought he is if he never had the symbiote to begin with, while Miles is almost down that road. So in a way, Miles is going through his own journey of getting his way out of the darkness while Peter's being pulled into the darkness.
If anything, if anything, I think it's perfect that way, because Miles kind of, like, overcomes, like, his need for vengeance, and then he can use those lessons to help, like, free Peter from the influence of the symbiote.
Yeah, but I attribute it to Peter being dragged into darkness while Miles is almost willingly going into darkness, and it's almost like him coming back that's able to save Peter.
Yeah, like, still grieving over May years later, becomes indulgent in the symbiote, old and self-depreciating, constantly criticized by his friends. Yeah, like, they're just two different characters.
To see this game as a celebration of its heroes, or a fun team-up. It feels like the writers are too insecure to take any risks with Miles, or bring him into his own, when he has all the potential he needs. We've seen the symbiote storyline with Peter done hundreds of times in the past, but never with Miles this close to the core of the conflict. Yet instead of...
Well, yeah, because Miles wasn't in the fucking Spectacular shirt, to give an example.
Using that to their advantage, they push him to the sidelines. I know a lot of us were excited to get another black suit game with Peter, but if this is how we were going to get it, only having the black suit for a short period, not telling us anything about Peter's character, and overly crowding the narrative, I would rather not have it at all. Making a game with two main characters is already ambitious enough as it is. The villains are handled even worse. Kraven's character is explained non-visually, with emotionless exposition dumps. His motivation is that he has a deadly disease, but his only thought is to have the symbiote kill him, when it could have been a lot more interesting and logical for him to try to take it for himself and become healed like he saw it did to Peter. The one thing the game tells us about Kraven throughout is that he always utilizes all the tools he has. He discovers and exploits the symbiote's weakness. He defeats Scorpion with his own tail. We could have seen a man bent on ending his own life, and always believing in his own strength as an apex predator, betray his own values, and extrinsically strengthen himself with the symbiote. Instead, his motivation is an afterthought.
Everything Kraven represents. Like, the whole point of Kraven is that he values, like, his core beliefs above everything else, which is...
He doesn't rely on power at all.
Like,
he's also got a very, I guess, gilded view of the world, where he's like, yeah, there aren't any good men, there's only good prey. So, like, it's pretty clear, and he lets this, mindset basically dictate his actions. So, like...
what he does is he makes himself, like, self-reliant to the point that he is the apex predator. He doesn't like the idea of having a crutch or anything. That's why he's both skilled and strong. He doesn't like relying.
The only time we actually saw that was in Spectacular Spider-Man, was in Spectacular, because in Spectacular, he found out, he was like, oh, I just got beaten by someone with powers. Let me get powers.
Yeah, but it was like evening the playing field, but like
Yeah.
when it again like it's different adaptation because obviously Craven in that, you know, he wasn't dying to a disease, he was just like hunting people.
He just got humiliated.
Like,
He just felt like he lost his honor.
Like, there are two versions of Craven that people usually go towards, like the peak human who wants to be a superior predator, which is Spider-Man, or someone who is enhanced who wants to like prove that Spider-Man is either better to Spider-Man or an equal.
Pretty
like,
much, yeah.
Peter. But like Miles, he feels like a plot device. He's entirely unrecognizable as Venom, who seems to be just manipulating Harry's resentment and good intentions to do insane stuff. Furthermore, because of how drastically it changes Peter and puppets his body around, we have no reason to count any of Harry's character into any of Venom's actions. I've avoided mentioning how the stories were in the comics and cartoons up to this point, because I truly believe that they could have done something unique by repurposing common concepts within the Spider-Man mythos. But with Venom, it feels like they ignored everything that made him special. Venom is not just an alien puppeting Eddie Brock around and causing him to want to take over the world. As an antagonist, Venom is a unified force of two individuals that Peter screwed over. He's a consequence for Peter's abuse of power when he had the symbiote, but also serves to contrast him and show that Peter is better off without the symbiote. Neither Harry nor the symbiote in this game function as characters. Peter is given a symbiote without any of the downsides, but still doesn't stand a chance against Venom, so we have no reason to believe he's better without it. And Harry is just a complete...
So, what he just said there, he's ignoring a lot of stuff, like the fact that Venom was ant by a null meteorite, which kind of made anti-venom necessary, and it's ignoring the fact that in every adaptation of Venom, Venom just abuses like whatever Eddie is thinking or feeling, to the point it becomes like an almost toxic.
It becomes a reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the whole reason Venom becomes an anti-hero, when he eventually does, is he realizes that his hatred towards Peter is unwarranted, or it's like the symbiote enhances it to such a degree. It's only until he starts to wake up to the reality does he change. Like, it only enhances what the person's already feeling. I feel like that's what he's going with Harry, but even then, Harry just feels like helpless and useless. Like, the whole point of it was to make him feel like he was a beast, which he was.
Yeah, and the thing is, Harry had the symbiote longer than Peter, so it was more leaning towards what Harry wanted.
Like, it was still conditioned a little bit, but it got stronger after bonding with Peter.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, with Peter having it and seeing that it wanted to protect everybody, hence the reason why Venom wants to try to heal the world, and he sees that as a way of putting people into a hive mind and turning them into symbiotes.
You know what's actually interesting? Because Venom wanted to kill, of its own volition, make Peter want to kill, it was letting Harry kill a lot of people, like Norman's own guards, Hunters, and Craven, but it wasn't until he killed Craven did it realize the guilt, the feeling of what it means to actually cross that line. And then Venom, that point onward, doesn't kill anyone.
Actually, I have a feeling about that, because that makes sense, because I read something from the art book. We were supposed to have a whole entire Venom section. We were supposed to have another playable Venom section at the cemetery.
But
symbiote without any of the downsides, but still doesn't stand a chance against Venom. So we have no reason to believe he's better without it. And Harry is just a completely virtuous guy, pressured by circumstances outside of his control. They tried to briefly recapture some of what made him special, by showing that he's jealous of Peter after hearing how much Norman is grateful for him. But unlike in every other version, we're repeatedly shown that Norman is a good father. We have no reason to believe that Harry would have an intense inferiority complex, or any conflict with Peter besides...
I mean, he's literally dying.
Well, there are two things with that. If you look at the lore and overall, Norman is very, very, he's very hesitant to, call Harry his son and all that. The instances we see in Spider-Man 2 are, the exception of, those moments where they're connected the most. But if you look at the PS4 game and how Norman talks, how he treats Harry's research stations, and if you read the prequel novel, Norman is very neglectful of Harry and doesn't show his love to Harry as much as he should.
Yeah, I agree.
It's only in those moments in Spider-Man 2 do we see those high notes of their relationship, but that's not the majority of what they go through.
As the suit's influence. Instead of making the most logical or fitting decision, instead of spending time on interesting character-driven moments, the game keeps moving at rapid pace, telling us what happened and why we should care, but by not taking the time to let their moments truly resonate, the characters and their choices almost all feel like they happen because the plot needed it to line up in a certain way. Insomniac had a checklist of things they thought would be cool, But unlike the first game, they don't have the freedom to build the world
I'll
from the
have to
ground up to
retire.
fit that.
Peter's taking a break.
Unlike the first game, Spider-Man 2
He
makes
never
the world of
said retiring.
Insomniac's Marvel
There's
only
implied
feel
that he will
smaller.
come
In
back
the
if
first
Miles
game,
needs
we
him,
had the
which is the
introduction
whole
of
point.
Sable, Black Cat, Screwball, Martin Lee, the entire Sinister Six, Green
Hey, Casual Coffee Gamer with the sub. Thank you so much.
Goblin, Kingpin, we got Tombstone, Hammerhead, Shocker, Taskmaster, all of which had potential going forward. Spider-Man 2 only
pause for a
serves to
second.
shrink its own world.
I will admit, Taskmaster should have been utilized more.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think only having a couple of encounters with him was a bit lame, but again, I think I want to just listen to what he was about to say.
World. Kraven dies, all of the symbiotes disappear, Black Cat is gone, the entire Sinister Six except for Otto is dead, Lee, Sandman, Mysterio, Tombstone are all redeemed. Kingpin, Taskmaster, Screwball, Sable, and Hammerhead outright don't show up. Though admittedly, I don't really want Screwball to come back. The only...
Yeah, so like, the idea that they're shrinking the verse, it's just progression, isn't it? Because like, there's other villains.
Like, the issue is that you're asking to, like, keep all these villains around to, like, use them later. Like, yeah, there's still potential loss there, but it's not like you can have another Scorpion show up or another version of Vulture. Like, Miles...
Or another Shocker.
Like, here's the thing. Even Miles has a novel, like, before the events of Miles Morales, but after the PS4 game, that's canon. And he fights, like, a niece of Vulture, who has all Vulture's tech and pretty much is Vulture in all but name. And it's kind of weird because that is probably the new Vulture.
Wait, Wings of Fury?
Yeah, Wings of Fury.
Yeah.
But I just think it's funny when they're like, oh, you know, like they're getting rid of the villains. 'Cause it's like, I'm pretty sure Insomniac themselves said, we're not running out of villains.
Yeah, we're not.
We have towards the next
it's very easy to either replace
game
or, you know,
are
couple the
Otto
next
and
relation.
Norman,
Like, what if
who are
Electro
already
became
factors
your
after the
energy
first game.
just somewhere, like, about that Kraven thought he killed? You never know.
Exactly.
Plus, as well, it's pretty interesting that he says this when, like, one of the main criticisms he has is like the pacing of the story was bad. But it's like, even if you only had Norman and Otto for like the third game, it's like I think that would be enough. Like, if you were to fully develop both of them, like I think that would be fine. But again, like Insomniac have said, you know, they've got, you know, a load of villains they can still use.
And Silk,
you can have, like,
Chameleon,
another-
and Carnage. And we still haven't seen any of the other Marvel heroes or factions. It's not like the
And dude, there's a lot
MCU
more
where you
villains
can just
that the rest
drip feed
probably
info.
fought in the past
People are
that we don't know
graduating
about.
high school or college, or dying in between games here. Giving us a world that feels alive, like in the first game, wouldn't hurt anyone. And I don't think anyone would have noticed if they replaced some of the biking or walking segments with cutscenes, or gotten rid of some of the Brooklyn Vision side quests to make more room. The conflict in the game impacts the entire city. Let us feel that. While we're on the subject, why are all of the side quests from the early game? The side quest where you play as Miles' girlfriend, especially could have been replaced with one during the invasion, where we could have seen her struggle to survive and detect symbiotes because she's deaf. Instead, we have a quest where she stumbles around and does graffiti, or missions where you use a spider
I don't
bot to climb
understand why
through
you're
cramped
adding
spaces.
side
This game didn't need to feel as cramped or disjointed as it did. For a 16-hour-long game, ambitious enough to have two main characters, you would need to use your playtime more carefully. With scenes that move multiple plot threads and characters forward, you would need to make more of an impact with the characters that matter the most, so that they don't get lost in translation. You can't have your main villain's backstory and motivation told in such an unmemorable way. The gameplay in Spider-Man 2 fares far better than the story. The swinging is still mostly animation-based rather than physics and momentum-based, and the arcade-like temporary speed boosts and the increased caps only improve things from the first game a bit. If you just try to swing normally, you'll quickly hit a wall and can't do anything to make it faster or more challenging. The speed boosts are only tied to new mechanics, such as the loop or web wings. The mission design is rigid, overly scripted, and full of unnecessary hallway sequences, pauses for dialogue, puzzles designed for kindergarteners, but I do enjoy the combat a lot more. The bosses are more challenging, expecting more from you than just dodging constantly, unlike the first game. There's a new parry, which adds a little more thought to things defensively. Half of the gadgets were swapped out for button combination special moves, which are very cool, but it feels like they have less use cases than the gadgets they replaced. But it bypasses the often intrusive constant menuing that the first game devolved into, so I think it about evens out. Best of all, there are new air juggle options and inputs to extend combos further, and take the brutality to the next level. And the new takedowns are spectacular, but where things really take a turn for the worse is in the content. Spider-Man 1 had loads of collectibles and repeatable stealth and combat challenges, and multiple bases for each faction. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 has the Kraven bases, each of which you can only do once, and the Mysterio combat missions, which only Miles can do. There are no traversal challenges at all, unless you count the drone tracking minigame, which basically just means hold the stick slightly in one direction. There are far fewer collectibles, and the map was only expanded very slightly, the new area being about half as large as the area from the main game. The lack of content only compounds upon the issue of how short and full of filler the main campaign is. Overall, Spider-Man 2 has a rushed, messy story that doesn't do justice to any of its main characters, slightly improved swinging in combat, and less content than the first game. It stomps on its own potential, and is far from a good reason to buy a PlayStation 5.
I mean, I agree with the last comment, because like if you're buying a very expensive console just for one game, like that's not a good idea.
Oh no, my friend did that.
Stuff in Spider-Man 2, but I agree that it could have fleshed out more. It's just like, you know, there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes where Insomniac couldn't have put out what they wanted, but I think what they gave us was good nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was nothing overly bad about it. Like there may be a few things like the Evolve suit and stuff like that, but nothing very major.
Yeah, okay. The Evolve suit, I feel like... Here's the thing. I like the Evolve suit. I just feel like there should have been... Here's the things that I would have done with the Evolve suit. I would have had Miles' hood on, and I would have and I would have taken off the shoes. Like, those are the only two things that are completely wrong with that.
See, like, I don't want to make any excuses for Spider-Man 2, but it's pretty interesting that the game went into development, like, right around the time of COVID. Like, that probably didn't help matters either.
Yeah.
Also, I've heard that because of the Insomniac hack, they were delayed on the DLC because, for some reason, like, some people are still finding stuff in the files that were leaked, and it's kind of one of those things where they're trying to, like, I don't know what they're doing, but they have been massively delayed more times, like, more in one way.
It's also interesting that the game only had, like, a 3-year development cycle.
Yeah,
I feel like if it had, like, another year or maybe 2 years, it would have been way better.
Yeah, whereas we're giving 5 to Wolverine. Sorry.
I'm just thinking, what if they like make a director's cut or something? You know what I mean? Something to like give them what they wanted to put out, but never got the chance to.
Riff, did you watch the how CIA hunted down the Autobots? I'm pretty sure I've already seen that. Or I think Transfurious did a video like that.
That whole entire third act save is just because, one, I feel like and this is just me, I think that there should have been more scenes with Harry where he's he's actually like feeling the effects on not even having the symbiote with him.
So you know what I think they should have done to improve the third act is that Venom is looking for the meteorite, and Norman and Connors know that, so they hide it and they tell the Spider-Man about it, and they're basically just trying to have a keep away from Venom, and Venom's like people throughout the city. You have other symbiotes like Riot and all that show up. Maybe the possibility of a symbiote Miles, but that's after Peter gets anti-venom. And just have like that boss fight we see in the B Greater trailer where Peter and Miles are both fighting Venom, and just kind of show that like Peter still, even without the symbiote, is still strong, but still needs Miles to fight Venom. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that idea that Kraven struggled to fight Venom, but the fact that Peter's doing it kind of implies that they're around the same level. That's all I ever wanted.
Resistance versus Ratchet and Clank versus Spider-Man. I mean, I'd probably choose Spider-Man, but
I would have to choose Ratchet and Clank just because.
Ratchet and Clank are pretty broken because if you like do their scaling to like Jak and Daxter, it gets even weirder.
I think it's mainly just the gaming, like the actual.
I'm sorry, the huge problem with Andrew Garfield. What?
If it's gaming, I do. Like, Ratchet and Clank I actually love to an extreme degree, but Spider-Man's just my, it's my nostalgia, so if you were to ask me for overall... I mean, if you just look at the games themselves, I would probably just pick Ratchet and Clank for its continuation, but not the newer ones, like the ones before Crack in Time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm just going to go for a piss again. I'll be right back.
I honestly still really think, though, like... Because, like, I read some of the stuff from the art book from video. Right after Harry kills Kraven, right after Venom kills, or I'm just gonna say, right?
Yeah.
When Venom kills Kraven, he's like, "Did I actually kill him?"
Yeah, I feel like the symbiote finally realized what crossing the line is the moment that it did that. compared to everyone else. Like before, it was treating everyone like fodder. Now it was like fighting someone, actually trying to actually kill someone like they meant it. And then once they did, they kind of felt the rush of emotion of guilt, like disgust, to like, am I a monster? What did I just do? Like, that's the whole thing. Like, and the symbiote tried to like compensate by saying, okay, we're going to help everyone now.
Yeah. Because I think right before we get to that thing, it's like I read something in our book. We were supposed to play as Venom at that section.
Yeah, it said something about Harry learning how to like make new symbiotes, and that's what would have caused like the idea of we're going to heal everyone.
Yeah, and I think then right after that we were supposed to fight. I think right then after that we were supposed to play as him again. So I was like,
yeah.
So why would you rip that out?
I just feel like they ran out of time. That's all.
I understand that they ran out of time, but it was just like after looking at that and after reading that and after looking at that scene, I was like,
we were supposed to get another mission of MJ and the Bugle.
I did hear about that too, but I'm glad that they didn't put that in there because Eddie would have been there. And I'm like, wait.
Yeah, I know. But like I said, the one thing I wanted the most was kind of show that base Peter, even without the symbiote, like even show an idea of him like fighting a symbiote that Miles is having trouble with, kind of showing that Peter, even without the symbiote, is still the OG. Like Miles is just better than him in some instances, he's better than Miles in some instances. And then just show that anti-venom was needed because of the null meteorite, because Venom was amped to the point that if Peter didn't have that, they would definitely lose.
Yeah. Here's my only problem though with the symbiote. Since we were supposed to get symbiote Miles, what I think would have happened was like something similar to his Absolute Carnage storyline, because he took over a symbiote by brute forcing, so he would have honestly took control.
So what they were planning on doing that was have Peter and Miles fight, but anti-venom Peter versus Miles with the symbiote.
Okay.
Yeah, look, that's
because the thing is, like with that fight, in my opinion, though, from like. Have you read Miles' Absolute Carnage storyline or no?
I don't know, but from what I can tell, it would have probably been no different than Peter versus Miles at base, since both symbiotes would be amping them. Only Peter would have like a direct kryptonite with no weaknesses, and Miles would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
the thing is, though, like I just feel like he would like emotionally take control of it by brute forcing it, because like to some extent, like people have brute force control.
I just don't like the idea of relying on the symbiotes, because I feel like the whole point of the symbiote arc in general, it doesn't matter which adaptation, is that Peter should realize that he doesn't need the symbiote to be capable or even to like fight Venom or Carnage. It's more of just make his life easier. Like that's what I even want that to come with anti-venom. Like Peter.
Oh wait, can we watch the Degenerate J's video?
Huh? Which one?
It was. They're awful, Spider-Man.
Today's video is yet another exercise in futility. What I'm talking about will not change. I could make the best points in the entire universe. I could honestly spawn in all the knowledge of every PhD combined and absorb them all into my brain, becoming Megamind himself, and it would not change the attitude around these games, and that is the Insomniac Spider-Man games. Now, there are two extremes that I want to talk about today a little bit. Yes, I know, once again, Jay, you're right in the middle. What do you call it? Not a centrist. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not, but like, when it comes to these games, they are games that I enjoy. I enjoy the Marvel Spider-Man games. I've Let's Played Miles Morales. I've Let's Played Marvel Spider-Man 2, both on Degenerate Plays. Link will be in the description. And you know what? I had a fun time with them. I still play these games to this day, off and on. I don't replay them 100 times, but I play them to this day. But something I've noticed with the fan base around these games is it seems like the most vocal of them are one of two things. And this comes to content creators, this comes to normal fans, Redditors, commenters, everything. It seems like it's either that Marvel's Spider-Man is just the worst interpretation of Spider-Man ever. It's woke, it's stupid, it's terrible, MJ's fat and ugly, the gameplay's mid, the story's terrible, everything's awful, and Insomniac should be ashamed of themselves, or this is basically as good as like The Second Coming, and there's never been a better story ever, move out of the way, Passion of the Christ, because we have Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I don't understand this. I mean, like, I don't understand how someone can look at these games and think these things, but before I get too deep into this, if you do enjoy the video, you want to leave a like, subscribe, let me know what you think. I do have a question of the day for you today, which is, what is your favorite Insomniac game? This could be even the Ratchet & Clank games, I don't know. I never call out people by name, like I'm never like, look at this guy, look at this girl. because I think that's tacky. I mean, there might come a point where I, do some video responses to somebody's opinion. I don't know. I've done it with things like CBR articles and stuff like that. But for me, I find like YouTuber takedowns kind of tacky and boring and usually talentless. Like it's pretty easy to just go through someone's video, react to it every 10 seconds and cry about it. I don't want to do that to anybody else. But something I've noticed with Marvel's Spider-Man is it seems like people have a grift around this game, around this series. Like they are either so invested that they can't admit that there are any faults to it. Right now I'm talking about content creators. Or they have such a hatred for this universe that there is nothing that it can do right. Like it can't get any credit. And looking at these extremes,
So he just described Joker and Colin.
Just don't understand it.
Well, I mean,
when you actually
Colin,
play through
Colin
these games, if you actually even just one simple playthrough, not doing all the side content, I'm talking the main story, hitting a few side missions here and there. Like the worst you can leave saying is the gameplay is fun, but the story could be better. I mean, there's problems with the stories, I certainly think, but that's also my problem with the people who pump it up too. Like they're not willing to admit that there's problems with the story. I mean, even recently I talked on Twitter just a little bit about how, hey, I really wish that these stories, all of them, not just Marvel Spider-Man 2, but all Spider-Man modern adaptations would stop rushing the symbiote saga. Would take a breather. Would slow down a little bit. Build up to it. Whether you're going to go the route of, oh, the symbiote makes Peter more angry, kind of like 90s TAS Spider-Man, or whether you're going to go the route of, hey, you know what, maybe it's not doing that, maybe it's more like classic symbiote suit, it takes over him a little bit when he sleeps, things like that, but overall he just gets freaked out by the fact that there's this thing on him that wants to bond with him forever, and Peter rejects it, and then how does that affect the symbiote? And did the symbiote want what was best or worst for Peter? Those were still deep questions in the original continuity. Those are still questions that exist in a lot of other continuities when it comes down to it, even when it affects his mood. But I feel like a lot of the people who write these symbiote sagas in modern Spider-Man literature of any kind don't actually understand it. I feel like a lot of times now it's based off of a very loose interpretation of the 90s version of it. We saw that in Spider-Man 3, we saw that in Marvel's Spider-Man 2. When I say 3, I mean the Raimi movie. And these are things that I like, but it seems like everybody is kind of in a rush to get through that arc to get to the next thing. Whether it maybe be in Raimi's case where he didn't want to do it anyway, he didn't connect with the Venom character, which, I love Venom, but you know what, if you don't connect with it, more power to you, I agree, maybe you shouldn't be writing that, but the studio pushed him to. Or whether it comes down to things like Marvel's Spider-Man 2, where it felt like it was more concerned with getting through the black suit to get a couple of angsty Yuri Lowenthal moments and then get to Venom. To get to, I guess I should say, the Insomniac version of Venom. And that's a big problem I have with Insomniac in particular, is not just their version of Venom, but it's that, one, they fell into the trappings of what a lot of other adaptations have done with the symbiote, but two, also the fact that Insomniac constantly feels the need to be different. They had to make MJ a reporter. She couldn't be a supermodel. And if you said anything about wanting her to be a supermodel or wanting her to look like one, there was a solid 3 to 4 months on Twitter where you would get called a misogynist or whatever. I mean, these words don't even mean anything anymore. They might as well.
Why would you want her to be a supermodel? She was already a reporter in the first game.
They'll call you a toaster oven, because I think most people hear misogynist and they just hear, a buzzword. I don't care what you have to say. At least that's what it does for me, personally. There's very few instances where I hear misogynist in the correct context with someone who's actually being misogynist, who actually views women as pieces of meat or lesser than them. So when it comes down to it, there was a solid run there where if you said anything about that, whether it be other content creators, whether it be commenters, Twitter losers, Redditors who have way too much.
Ultimate Comics and this MJ, because at least they're actually different.
Sorry, I'm late.
Yeah, pretty much.
Time on their hands, anything, they would get pissed about that. There's this weird inherent defensiveness around Marvel's Spider-Man 2 with some of these people, where you can't even criticize these things. You can't even point out, hey...
Marvel Spider-Man fans are still the worst? Wait, who the hell?
Oh yeah, this is Degenerate J.
Yeah, it's fucking interesting. MJ being a reporter means she has a reason to go into dangerous situations. Yeah, pretty much. I gotta head out, but I enjoyed watching. You know, where he's Shade to go.
The final act of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 was really fun. I thought it was really fun gameplay-wise, but it was pretty much Diet Web of Shadows crammed into one act of a game. You can't point out, hey, you know, if you took the symbiotes out of this game, and instead you had Peter wear the black suit for most of it, maybe expanded the Harry Agent Venom thing a little bit, or maybe even went the direction of Harry getting the Goblin Serum, most of this story structure would have been the same. Like, it's very clear that they just made Harry Venom to do their own thing, just because. Like, you can't point stuff like that out, or people get genuinely angry at you. And on the other side, I think it's really frustrating to talk about these games and even try to enjoy them in any kind of group setting, like with other people online, you know, talking to friends, anything, because it feels like on the other side, there was a group of people who, like, thought that this game was the best thing ever, and when it didn't win a game award, all of a sudden they were dogging on it. You know, like, oh, well, actually it has all these problems, blah, blah, blah. It's like they switched up immediately, which made people not take criticisms seriously. It made them just ignore them.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Well, that's just another reason why the game awards don't really matter. It's like, if you like a game, then like it.
I think Alter Hero says the biggest problem with Insomniac MJ being a reporter is because there are so many superhero love interests.
They're
reporters. Although I don't have a problem with it.
The funny thing is, I saw 2 videos recently that called her like a rip-off of Lois Lane for DC.
Yeah, from fucking Joker and stuff. Well, it's like, if you compare, like, pretty much every single, like, love interest for Spider-Man, it's like they've all got different career roles anyways. It's like you have, like, it's like you have Black Cat, who's, like, a criminal, you know, when she's Black Cat, and obviously Felicia Hardy, she's got, like, different roles. Gwen is primarily, like, a scientist, sciencey role. And then you have, like, MJ, who, it kind of depends on the version. So, like, I don't understand. So, like, they've all got, you know, different stuff, and it's like MJ was a reporter at one point in the comics, so I don't see it as being an issue.
I didn't know that.
Well, people think that because MJ is Peter's girlfriend, they think that she should just be a model.
Oh, that's how she started when she first appeared.
Yeah. After that, they wanted her to be an actress, and after that, we get the ultimate version. She's a reporter, and in the Drake Bell cartoon, she is a reporter / symbiote. Yeah.
I think the way that they handle it in the new Ultimate Comics, where MJ was a reporter, I mean, she was a supermodel, but now she like turned into like someone who owns a company, like does her own stories, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Like that's where she should be, where it's like you can have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Heck, some people don't like the fresh take on the characters.
Who would Peter marry, Gwen, MJ, or Black Cat? Again, it just depends on the adaptation. So, like, this version is probably going to marry MJ.
I mean, Noir's going out with Black Cat right now.
I mean, my biggest issue is Black Cat is like the bad girl who emotionally manipulates Peter, like even if she cares about him. Gwen is like the first puppy love, and I can see why Peter would marry her, but I think MJ is just like ride or die.
Pretty much, but anyways.
You also have the fact that there were people, even before that, who every time the game did anything, it was the worst thing ever. Like, I don't like making MJ a reporter. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of changing MJ to be, I'm going to say this nicely, and look, I'm not the handsomest guy ever, changing her from a supermodel into one of the more homely people I've ever seen. You know what? I'm not a huge fan of that, but it didn't make the game bad. You know, like, that change did not make these games bad. It was just one of many story directions I didn't agree with. But you'd have, like, these people...
Masked Vigilante, Black Cat is basically eye candy. She's not got a healthy relationship with Peter. Yeah, pretty much.
You know, who are on this grift of, like, how can we find and read into this thing Marvel Spider-Man 2 did, or this thing Marvel Spider-Man 1 did, or how can we find and complain about Miles Morales? Remember the whole Miles Morales isn't Spider-Man, he's just Miles Morales movement for like quite a while online?
That's still going, by the way.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah,
and after that, when you bring solid arguments,
those people still can't seem to get over a black man being Spider-Man.
But yet they will allow Miguel O'Hara when Scarlet Spider. Well, 2 Scarlet Spiders.
Pretty much.
Very steeped in some weirdness at the very least.
So if that's the case,
and I think insecurity at the idea of Miles surpassing Peter in any way, that was weird. But then on the other hand, also Insomniac kind of giving Miles just like power bump after power bump and putting him over Peter in 2 was also weird. Like, to me, that felt like WWE. The idea is that you bring in someone with cred. Like, you bring in someone with credit who is, you know, the fans know who they are, and you have someone who is working their way up, beat that guy. Because then it's like, oh, well, you know, now look, he's surpassed this person. In a lot of ways, it felt like the writing of Marvel Spider-Man 2 was trying to do that as well. So that was something that was able to be criticized. But when you criticize that, it doesn't make Miles Morales not Spider-Man to me. You know, and this is something that's so frustrating to me. I mean, I can make this video topic on probably anything, but when it comes down to it with the Insomniac Spider-Man games, I care less and less about this continuity the further we go on. I enjoyed the first one. I really liked Miles. 2 I thought was such a mixed bag, and I hope 3 and Wolverine and whatever they make are great. I really truly do. I don't go into them looking to tear them apart. But I feel like people have made these games genuinely unfun. Whether it's because they are like the content, I can't say the word that starts with an N and rhymes with Yahtzee here, so I'll just say Yahtzee, who like looks for and nitpicks every tiny little thing to have something to complain about for 20 minutes.
Joker.
Or whether it's the person who can't accept the most mild literary criticisms about the games and thinks that they are a 10 out of 10 and everything Insomniac does is right.
Colin.
It's obnoxious. It's not fun.
At least Colin will actually point out flaws with it. But
yeah, that's a fair point.
I've seen
Colin.
I've seen videos where Colin likes to insult people who criticize his precious Insomniac games. Calling them retards.
I don't use that word.
That's true. That's what he says.
I'm sure he does, but I don't want it being said when I'm streaming.
I mean, the thing about Colin, he just criticizes stuff that he wants to be improved, but it's like, on the whole, he's just like, hey, it's pretty good, it's not great.
I prefer adaptations that are very different from the source material, so that way we can tell which adaptation is which, instead of it always adapting storylines from the comics. See, like, I'm kind of okay with it either way, as long as the plot's good and the characters are likable. So like Tobey's Spider-Man, it's kind of comic accurate, but it kind of like so like the first film's kind of comic accurate, but then it becomes like way less accurate as like the films go on. Andrew is much less accurate, but like the characters are still well written, well in the first film at least. And then obviously Tom Holland has like connections to the Avengers, but like the characters just like the films are entertaining, but like the characters just aren't written very well. So I think it just kind of depends.
Insomniac is not a monolith of good or bad. There are mixed decisions in these games. There are things that I think work amazingly. A lot of the gameplay works amazingly. There are some things I think work fantastic for the story. Like Otto Octavius' story in the first game I thought was really well done. But there's also things that I think are open to criticism.
By the way.
Yeah, go
on. Some people still want one-to-ones for that. Like I've had like people have still been like talking about like why is Ock in control of his arms? Why doesn't he have the neural interface melt him? I'm like,
this isn't Sam Raimi, buddy.
Jesus. I'm like, I have to explain like it's not Sam Raimi.
Yeah, it's just like different versions.
Criticism. And I don't know what...
Peter retiring from being Spider-Man and Miles taking up the torch is not a bad idea. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea if it was true, but like he's not retiring, he's just taking a break.
When we moved away from this
panicking right after that ending.
Like, I know people have always been tribal, and when people don't have a personal identity, they latch on to something. Like, that's always been the case. But all of my favorite things, like my favorite video game, Fallout New Vegas, if you came up to me with a list of 10 problems the game had, I could look through them and talk to you.
But I do have, like,
and I would probably agree with you.
I look at it as, like,
if you can't...
I think it's just because Peter has noticed that Miles has been taught very well and has been practicing a lot. and it's gone to the point where he's like, okay, so at this point, I have teached them enough, and that's the whole entire point of that whole entire "you don't need it" line. Whenever Miles asks him for advice.
Yeah, the whole point I think is that Peter is just like he's getting his life together. He spent 10 years now just being Spider-Man, and I would say about 9 without help. This is like the first time that a Spider-Man has come around that he's taught well enough where he can just like take a breather, where he can like spend maybe a couple years without being Spider-Man.
Yeah,
but that doesn't.
I mean, like when we first see like this version of Peter Parker, he was already Spider-Man for like 8 years.
Yeah.
It's funny that Miles gets a lot of hate being Spider-Man, but Jon Stewart is everyone's favorite Green Lantern, and they pretend Hal Jordan doesn't exist. I
prefer Hal. But
well, you got to keep in mind, Jon Stewart's been around a hell of a lot longer than Miles has, and also like Jon was in like the actual good like Justice League shows as well. So
yeah.
All context with that is that Hal was dealing with stuff like with the big leagues in the Green Lantern Corps while John was protecting the Earth. So it kind of made sense either way. Like you can have both, but they just focus in different areas.
Pretty much.
mean,
Also,
like-
they're not the
Jon
same
Stewart,
character either. Just because like obviously there's a shit ton of Green Lanterns in like the Green Lantern Corps.
Like you can just simply say that Miles will take care of New York from now on. Like every major activity, and if Peter like needs to get called from someone like let's say Wolverine, like some buddies in the Avengers or the X-Men, like he can go there.
He can
Maybe
go deal with that.
Yeah, he deals
I mean, like aside from like the giant A tower, I don't think the Avengers even exist in this world.
They do. It's just they're absent. It's the same.
Came up to me with a list of things you didn't like about some movie I like. I could probably talk to you about that. Now, part of that is because I have a family. You know, I have friends. I have things going on in my life. So while these things matter a lot to me, they're not my core identity. But I feel like a lot of people don't seem to have that, or at least they don't act like they have that.
People don't have friends or okay.
It seems like this thing to them, whether it be a negative or a positive focus, this Insomniac Spider-Man universe, is unhealthy. It's what they've built their entire personality off of. It's what they've built their entire substance online off of. And if anyone says anything negative about it, they're upset. And they take it personally. And I don't understand that. Like, even if you worked on the game, I don't understand that. There have been mistakes I've made in my videos. Sometimes people will tell me them, and they'll say them in a very mean way. That is when I understand taking it a bit personally. But there are also times where I need to take a step back and say, you know what? I'm not perfect. I got that wrong. I made a mistake in my research, or I misspoke because I have speech impediment issues, or I just had a huge brain fart. I'm a human being, I make mistakes, and that's okay. And I don't understand why the people who didn't even work on this game, just fans with this series, can't view these games in that way. Not that none of the discussion matters, but the idea that, hey, you know what? There's going to be some things that don't connect with me or don't connect with other people, and that's all right. It doesn't make the games the...
I think I get the point at this. It's pretty much just one of those where it's like...
I mean, by the way, one more thing too about the whole entire thing. Miles is basically like what Nightwing was to Bruce.
Yeah.
Oh,
I guess
that's a good analogy.
That's pretty much it. Like, you can still have Batman and Nightwing, but Nightwing represents what Batman could be, if not better.
I mean, also Nightwing has like his own city to defend with Bloodhaven.
Exactly. But that's another thing. People are panicking and want Miles to leave the city and have his own place, and I'm like,
no, the point of Peter having a successor, because if he can't have help, then he has to be Spider-Man 24/7.
In fact,
I'm like,
I think
so if
they
that's
were
the
actually
case,
coming.
then, so by that logic, then Nightwing shouldn't be Batman. Like, oh, President's rank Spider-Man. Ooh, I haven't seen this one yet.
Jesus, that's a long one.
It's gonna be long.
Fuck it. We'll see if the presidents can come up with semi-decent takes for the films. Ever since Raimi Spider-Man 2 came out, all these crazy toxic Spider-Man fans think that every version of Spider-Man Peter Parker should always be shit on. I mean, I don't know, maybe some more than others.
Oh, I think I've seen this video.
What are we doing today? Hello, Donald.
No,
Just setting up a tier list.
Hey, Rift, I've seen this video.
Okay, I haven't.
Today. Oh, that's just fantastic. Okay, Spider-Man.
I can't hear. It's really quiet for me.
Spider-Man movies today. Oh,
I
that's
can
just
hear it.
fantastic.
When most of these, I just skip to the end.
Honestly, one of my
You
favorite
just, like, go
superheroes is Spider-Man.
I'd be surprised whenever I was
In fact,
trying to
he was as
rank
old as
every single
Spider-Man. I was
movie. I was
born
like, I don't
in
know
August of
when to rank them, but every
1961,
single
and
time I rank
Spider-Man
one, I
was
would
created
put
in
across
August of
Spider-Verse and
1962.
God tier.
Get his bitches so I can actually want. Don't say that ever, man. It's just that
MJ were good.
Is this actually going to be like a tier list or some shit? Oh, they're actually working. Alright, fucking.
Let's go back to the other one.
I'm trying to find like an actual like.
What is up, gang? We are back
I'm
on the
gonna leave for a
Spider-Man
second, I'll be
craze
right
because
back.
we
Well,
all
not
just
leave the
saw
chat, but,
Across
you know,
the
just-
Spider-Verse.
Well,
And
the
we
first
decided
video
to
you were
make
looking
our
at was
next tier
the
list
actual
on all the
trailer.
Spider-Man
Not the
movies
second
we've
one.
ever seen, in order of their release date. As always, I am joined by Donnie and Joey.
Across the Spider-Verse was so good, everyone should watch it if you haven't already.
Half of me didn't like Miguel O'Hara, but the other half I liked. I also enjoyed how he hated Miles and told him he didn't belong.
Huh, I wonder why you of all people would like that, Donald.
Oh dear.
Anyways, let's go ahead and start this list, and I have the
I
first
like
Spider-Man
these,
going
yeah,
into
first
C
and
tier.
then-
That's good.
It's a pretty
Miles
mid movie,
Pierce,
but I
man.
still liked
Yeah.
it and introduced us to Tobey as
tier.
Spider-Man.
That's not a bad review for it, honestly. I'd maybe
I
even
would've
bump
put
it up to
Spider-Man
B
Wait,
tier
what?
because that
I was
shizzle
trying
is for
to. What are they saying for it?
It's a pretty mid movie, but I still liked it and introduced us to Tobey as Spider-Man.
That's not a bad review for it, honestly. I'd maybe even bump it up to B tier because that shizzle is for nizzle.
God never let Joey speak for himself. C seems one tier too low, but after hearing Joey say what he said, well, I'll hear you out on this list, Barack. I just can't get over how good Willem Dafoe was in the first Spider-Man movie.
Nah, trust me and let me cook. My list feels very nice in my opinion. I do respect Dafoe as the Green Goblin, and he even stole the light from every other villain in No Way Home, but as of now I feel like this is the right place for this movie. However, next I have Spider-Man 2.
Already I disagree with this.
Yeah, I think the original Spider-Man film for me is easily S tier, but
I put it in A tier.
I just think it's close to being a masterpiece.
Okay, I'm back.
I think Spider-Man 2 is the masterpiece.
Tier. This movie was the best superhero movie of its time, and basically held that title for a while. It definitely held.
See, like, I just don't understand how you can have Spider-Man 2 in S tier, but the first film all the way down in C tier. I don't get that.
The title is the
it
best
only gets
Spider-Man
worse
movie
later
all the way
on.
till arguably
I'm just
either No
gonna
Way Home
say
or
it.
the newer.
S, maybe B, then C, then C.
Oh, he put Spider-Man 2 as a match.
A, maybe
Animated
F,
Spider-Man movies came out.
B.
Big
Spider-Man
dubs right here, Barack.
3 might be
The
A.
OG Spider-Man carried the whole
And movie all the way till arguably either No Way
See what he
Home
says
or
for
the newer
Spider-Man 2.
animated Spider-Man movies came out.
Big dubs right here, Barack. The OG Spider-Man carried the whole franchise till the newest movies. I don't want a damn soul in the comment section to try to say that Andrew Garfield had better movies or that Tom Holland had any better ones aside from, of course, No Way Home, but that movie is goated for having all three Spider-Men. Doc Ock was a good-ass villain in this movie, and Spider-Man 2 will forever live on as one of the best.
Yeah, but too bad MJ in this movie looks like Dookie.
Facts.
You know what, though, Joey? I actually have to agree with you here. I, for one, think that The Amazing Spider-Man has the best female lead. Zendaya is, well, a bit too ethnic
Yeah,
for
here we
me.
go with this.
Okay, wow. Cut that out right now.
Bruh.
That is so inappropriate, and you know Joey loves Zendaya. Don't make him sad, Donald. Anyways, we got our next movie, which is Spider-Man 3. Now, this movie is good for memes, but for everything else, it is kind of bad. I don't blame
don't
the
be too
creators
harsh on
because they were
3.
forced to put Venom in the movie, but overall, this is a D-tier movie.
Bully Maguire was a
D-tier.
Giga Chad in this movie, and I liked that part. But yeah, everything else was as bad as Joey's dementia-ridden nightmares.
What are we talking about? Ooh, I didn't like Spider-Man 3 that much, but The Amazing Spider-Man was pretty all right.
Joey, don't go taking naps.
I'm not really enjoying the video. It's kind of it's not very entertaining as far as President videos go. So we'll see what the end of the tier list is.
What the?
Okay, I knew that Across was gonna be.
Let me have a look. Okay, so
Homecoming better than the first Raimi film?
I disagree.
Bullshit.
This, like, for example, Far From Home, I think is F tier. I think Tasm's a bit above it.
I'm just glad he put Spider-Verse at S tier though.
all right.
I
Well,
would put. Yeah.
well, the only idea that I was gonna do now is for us to actually go through the tier list and for us to do a tier list.
Ooh, make our own one?
Yeah.
Do it.
So Spider-Man.
I'm a sucker
I was
for
trying to
doing
make it tier list.
We'll put some music on in the background. Fuck it, some Spider-Man.
Ranking? Oh no, I'm not doing a ranking of. Well, Wait, how many suits are we talking about?
We're talking films, not suits.
Oh.
Okay.
Wait, that doesn't even have all of them. Oh man.
Wait, doesn't have all?
No.
Okay,
That's missing a
Go
cross.
back to the top. Go back to click.
See if it's this one. Well, that has Venom,
No.
but
Venom. Venom doesn't really count.
it doesn't have the Spider-Verse
Here,
ones
I
though.
can find one. I can find it.
Wait, tier list, No Way Home included. Spider-Verse again.
Ah, I got it.
Well, have you got all of them? Do you have all of them?
Yes, it says 2023, including.
All right.
Across
Put it in shilling so we can use it.
Oh, but I just put it on my screen.
No. Put it in shilling so we can all do it.
All right, where is that?
No, not chilling. Sorry, disagreement though. I forgot we're in disagreement though.
Oh, what the? I almost
Okay, I'll put it
something
in
wrong
the,
with my computer
in
for
the
a second.
chat. Okay, it's right in the next door in the chat.
Okay, I'm making mine right now.
Yeah, I'll do. We'll go through it one film at a time. We'll do it in order. Are we just keeping? Are we keeping it S A B C D?
Yeah, let's just say that. Let's just do that for simplicity's sake. No.
All right.
Hold on.
It's loading. I don't know why it's taking so long.
Alright, I need to get rid of a couple of my fucking tabs. I've got so many of them. Right,
Okay.
I am ready whenever.
I don't have my tier list up. Hold on.
Not yet.
I just finished mine.
I'm gonna go through them one at a time. Oh, the films, we have like a load of them. That's weird.
Well, it's the same photos twice. Sorry.
Wait, did you send it to the chilling chat?
No, it's in disagreement day.
So I'll send you a picture of mine through the chat once I'm done. I'm just like.
I'm gonna go through mine. I'll do full screen as well.
I'll send you mine.
Why is this taking so long?
Alright,
so
well,
I went to the chilling. It's not even in there.
no, it's in disagreement day. I've already said.
The chat in disagreement day.
Oh shit. Okay.
Alright, I'm ready whenever.
Okay, me too. Wait, is it still loading? Come on.
I get it. Can you all send it to general so we can do it? Yeah, I'll put it in general. Fuck it.
Oh, for crying out loud.
You having issues?
Here's my photo.
Like, I'm seeing, like, the top of the page, but it's not allowing me to go down.
There. Here's
Bruh.
my tier list photo.
Okay.
Right, I'm not gonna look at anyone's tier list. So the original Spider-Man.
A tier. A tier.
I think for me it's easily an
Oh.
S.
Well, I put Spider-Man 2 in S, and I put the first one in A.
I think the first one's
I think
just.
the first.
I think the first one's just a pretty underrated masterpiece. There's not really much I disagree with it.
Spider-Man 3 is the underrated one.
I don't know. I have the
Still holds
first
up.
one at A tier.
I put the first one in A2 too.
There's really nothing that I
Spider-Man 2.
dislike about this film. I think the pacing is pretty much perfect. Certain parts of the CGI obviously haven't aged well, but it's over 20 years old. Like, that's to be expected. I think it's really freaking good.
Oh, I put the first one in A and the second one in S because I think the second one like builds upon what the first movie set up in a greater way.
Now for Spider-Man 2.
Oh no! Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
I mean, I think it's got to be S tier, but I'm just kind of deciding where where it goes in S tier. Because, like, I stand by this. I keep saying this. I think Spider-Man 2, it's the best, but it's also the least rewatchable because the tone is just because the tone. Well, if you shut the fuck up and let me talk, I'll explain why. Like, I understand you wank yourself to sleep over Tobey Maguire's films, but, you know, I'm gonna...
I do not, so shut the fuck up.
Well, I mean, you interrupt me every time I try criticize the films, so you could forgive me for thinking that. I think Spider-Man 2 is easily the best, but it's also the least rewatchable, purely because the first hour of the film is very tonally different than your average superhero film. You basically just have to watch Peter get the shit kicked out of him for the first hour or so. That being said, I do think Doc Ock is the best Spider-Man villain. Just the CGI and the practical effects that went into his arms was just insane.
I don't know, where do you guys think TASM is going?
Well, we're gonna get to TASM at some point. Now for Spider-Man 3, where do you guys have Spider-Man 2?
I have it at...
I put it in S tier.
Right now, I'm just waiting for it to load.
Oh, you're still waiting for... Rip.
I have Spider-Man 2 at S tier, and I have Spider-Man 1 at A.
Oh, mine's downloaded.
Alright, so now for Spider-Man 3.
It's underrated.
I would have to put it... Here's the thing with me and Spider-Man 3. I like it, but like... I would put it at B tier if it wasn't for the black suit, so...
I put it in B tier as well.
Okay, you guys can look at mine. I'm sending it through the chat.
Yeah, I'll look at it in a bit.
I'm putting mine through the chat too.
I honestly don't know where I'd put Spider-Man 3.
I'm ranking them based on level, not like ranking on 1, 2, and 3, 4. Rather, these are my enjoyment.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah. I think Spider-Man 3 for me is probably an A tier film. I like more or less everything about it, like out of context, but obviously you put it all together, like it does feel very rushed. Even though he didn't want to do Venom, I think it worked pretty well. And again, this film had some of the best CGI of the trilogy, probably the best CGI of the trilogy, like whether it's Sandman, the fight scenes. It's clear that a lot of work went into this film. And obviously it's kind of the ugly duckling of the trilogy, but it's still really good.
Are we doing the Venom? Are we doing like the Venomverse or just Spider-Man?
I'll do the Venom films, fuck it. TASM 1...
Venom 1 was actually really good.
It's not as good as the original Spider-Man.
Like, I'm willing to put Venom 1 above TASM 2. Like, that's just me.
Venom let there be carnage.
The only good thing that came out of the Garfield movies was Emma Stone, in my opinion.
100%.
See, like, the issue for me is if you include all the deleted scenes, TASM 1 is like high A, maybe low S for me. But like without the deleted scenes, it's kind of boring.
I have to put Carnage. I have to put Carnage.
Like, it's not bad. It's just kind of, I don't know.
And then these two are going.
I'm not sure if it came through yet.
Like, and I think I'm not going to include the deleted scenes purely because, like, when I'm thinking about the other films, I'm thinking about like the base product as well. So with that in mind, I think it's a B tier for me.
Oh. It took out a cross for me, but a cross I would have at S.
TASM 2. See, like, TASM 2 within the context of this list, I would probably put it at C and not D. Because, like, it does have redeeming qualities. It does have redeeming qualities. The suit's really good, the action's great. But, again, like, there are some really bad plot elements to this film. Probably the worst plot outside of, like, Madam Web. But that's kind of...
Now that's a hot take there, comparing those two.
Well, I mean, it's like they have the worst plots of any Spider-Man film. Like, even though it's kind of not really, it's more of like a spin-off type thing. But,
I mean, hey, at least that plot. I'm actually making a review on that. Like,
now for Homecoming.
Oh, I put it in C tier.
Oh, hold on, man. Let me put it in the.
I think Homecoming's a very entertaining film. I think for me it's probably B tier. It's very it's very entertaining. And I think Vulture's okay.
To me.
Yeah.
I'm sick of the constant. Oh, Mr. Stark, Mr. Stark.
Yeah, it's a very different portrayal of the character, but the film is entertaining.
Yeah.
Well, not to me. I put it in C tier. The only redeeming quality was Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I think this film had definitely good moments, but it is it does retread a lot of like Spider-Man 2's with like giving up the costume, giving up being Spider-Man, but it didn't work nearly as well.
Okay, like, giving up the costume thing, that was for Iron Man.
Alright, so now I guess if we're doing them in order, I think it's Into the Spider-Verse now, and like Venom. And...
Actually, it's Venom next. Venom's next.
Alright, so I'm gonna be. I'm sorry, Venom. It's gotta be.
Fair.
Tom Hardy wasn't enough to save this film.
I mean, I put Venom at S just because, like, it was just.
Are you freaking serious?
Well, if I were to be honest, I kind of messed with Venom, kind of bonding with Eddie instead of him having the hate, because I actually kind of liked that.
That's not the point of the character.
I know, but it was kind of cool to see Venom as kind of like an anti-hero for the first time.
I prefer villain. I prefer villain Venom trying to destroy Spider-Man, because that's how it's been like since the beginning.
I like that too. Like I like Venom. Like don't get me wrong. I like Venom like as a villain too, but I sometimes like him as an anti-hero. So it was like a moment where he could like, you know.
For me, I just don't. I'm not a huge fan of the Venom film. Like this, the action wasn't very good. A lot of it, you could barely tell who was who. The characters just aren't all that interesting. I think the villain was weak. There's just not that much I like about it.
In fact,
okay, I'm gonna do.
Don't come at me in the comment, but I think Sam Raimi did Venom better, in my opinion.
Are we doing Spider-Verse next? Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah, but whoever's
A-tier
was good, like did better. Then I fully agree with that.
Into the Spider-Verse. I'm gonna get hate for this.
Oh no! What are you doing?
Just put it in if you're really not into it.
Put it in A tier.
I mean, it may not be your taste, but you have to acknowledge where it lands.
For this, really tempted to go to S.
You want to put it in D because
where does it go?
Want to piss off.
A tier. Put it in A tier. It's fantastic.
It's either C or B, and that's me being generous.
Oh, what? All right, I forgot. You don't like watching cartoons.
Phoenix, I'm saying this. You should. I'm saying this.
I'll be generous. It's the top of B tier, but it's.
I forgot. You don't like watching cartoons.
I like cartoons, but I think that the live-action films are way more impressive.
That's fine. You just don't.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Hold on. I've seen people say that cartoons animation can do stuff for Spider-Man that can't be achieved in live action.
Exactly, and that's why I think it's cheating.
Cheating?
How is that cheating?
Because it has an inherent advantage with it being animation, which is why when the live-action films do insane shit, it's all the more impressive because of the limitations.
That's not a bad thing, though. It's just one of those things where one has an advantage over the other. In fact, you could say that, hey, live action is more appealing, but animation gives you more flair.
It gives you more freedom, but that doesn't mean it has more flair.
I see that, but what I'm just trying to say is...
I think if you compare like the action in Spider-Man 3, it surpasses anything from Spider-Verse. Or at the very least, the first one. Moving on to Far From Home.
I put it in F, or D.
I put it in C. I'm gonna be generous and not put it in D, because I do think it's not as bad as the Venom films, but yeah, it's a C.
Just like with the last movie, the only good thing in that movie was Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio. The rest of the garbage.
Far From Home's awful. I genuinely don't understand the love for this film. They turned Peter into the most unlikable fucker known to man.
Don't worry about it.
I don't want to do Spider-Man. I want to be with my girlfriend.
Like, there's the most pointless love triangle in all of fiction. You have, like he's constantly having
we also had Peter almost set up a drone strike on his own school. Well, you had Peter set up a drone strike on himself.
He gives the glasses to a guy he only knew for like a couple days.
If I'm hungry, I'll probably get some.
Right.
Alright, so Now,
Yeah.
which one is it now? Is it Venom Carnage?
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
Venom, Let
This
There
is
Be
one of-
Carnage. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, it's...
Here, can I say something about this? I thought-
whoever's, like,
Jesse-
chatting, can you, like, mute, please?
With my own
Here's the
money.
thing. I thought Woody Harrelson was the perfect casting for Cletus Cassidy, but they wasted it.
Oh no, here's the thing. There was concept art. It was supposed to be
You're
rated
good.
R.
Like taking. I don't like.
That's even worse.
Hey, Safe, if you... Can you, like, mute your mic, dude?
Yeah, well, if you need more help on it, just let me know.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I thought Woody Harrelson was the right casting for Cletus Cassidy because he's played psychopaths before.
I think that, well, again, it's like the casting is good, but like the films themselves just aren't all that good. Actually, no, I'm gonna be generous. I think it's better than the first film purely because I like Carnage more than Riot. I'll be generous, but like
It's not practice.
Like I like,
surprised that,
and it kind of
Venom
fixes
3's
the
not on
issue,
the list,
and it
though.
kind of fixed the issue of the two symbiotes looking the same and like the action suffering as a result. But
yeah,
again, it didn't fix it by much. I just don't like the direction of those films. That it's not for me.
You know what? You know what I'm surprised by, Riff? Is
yeah,
I'm very surprised by that movie because like the concept art, apparently Carnage is supposed to be way more violent than what we got.
They also said he's supposed
man,
to.
they wasted it.
Yeah, I think those films just aren't really
That
for
movie
me, and
was-
I think the final Venom film is also just going to be a D tier when that comes out because it isn't for me. No Way Home.
Okay,
This one I put in B tier just
Yeah,
because.
I only when I went to see that movie, when they first brought back the Sam Raimi characters, I'm like, count me in.
What was
the
it?
reason I put
it at S
tier is because it kind of relies on nostalgia when it's actually not very good in terms of
It made
storytelling.
Willem Dafoe more terrifying in that movie.
I mean, for me, I put mine at S just because
Like I feel like S is overrating it a little bit because in
who
all
agrees
reality,
that they
I
made
do love what it
Willem
did, but
Dafoe more
how it did, it
terrifying
could have been
in this
better.
Rift, have mercy on Across the Spider-Verse. I am not pulling any punches with these Spider-Verse films. I'm sorry. In fact, the more I'm looking at Into the Spider-Verse being in B tier, the more it's slowly upsetting me, so I'm trying not to, like, look at it.
Why'd you do it in the first place if it's upsetting you?
You're not helping matters.
Well, to be honest,
See,
Rick,
like-
you might as well pull the Band-Aid off.
See, like, based on the first time I watched this film, it would be, like, it would be, like, S tier, maybe, like, the best. But if I'm being objective, outside of TASM 2, this has the worst story of any Spider-Man film. Like, there are so many, like, instances where they assassinate the characters, they make them do dumb shit. There's times that...
Assassinate? Who did they assassinate?
Tom's Peter, Doctor Strange, pretty much anyone they can lay their hands on.
well, the thing is, I think before No Way Home, they were actually going to.
There's also incredibly, like, dumb shit you have to think about, like Peter
the main
winning
thing
a fight against Doctor Strange in the mirror dimension of all things.
Like, let me just put it into perspective.
But Rick, can't you agree that Willem Dafoe was more
and all
terrifying?
their villains were. And it kind of makes you think: is the story good at that point?
Why is Spider-Man 3 in A tier? Because it's an underrated masterpiece. It's just that it's just that people with Spider-Man 3, people just look at people just regurgitate the same shitty opinions you hear online rather than thinking for themselves.
I think this is the reason why I put No Way Home so high. And it's just mainly just because of well,
alright.
Actually, I forgot what I was going to say. Anyways, State, go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, I only put it in B tier because, like, the story stuff does bring it down a peg for me. In fact, I would say that it's C to D tier in terms of storytelling, and it's the nostalgia that raises it up to S tier stage.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a mixed bag where it's like it has some good in it, but it has a lot of bad, so I just put it dead in the middle.
In fact, if I had to pick one moment in the movie that stood out to me, and that was the scene where Tobey Maguire and Alfred Molina have their little reunion.
I mean, I'm just gonna pick the whole entire scene in Ned's house.
See, like, the thing for me is, I think No Way Home is like a 10 out of 10 in every aspect except for story. Like, soundtrack is really good. It kind of avoided the issue with recent MCU films where like the CGI just looks fucking fake as anything. They actually did balance practical effects with CGI much better than like most modern MCU films. Even though I know people hate on Toby's suit looking different, like who gives a fuck? But like they did a really good job with like various things. Yeah, I think A tier is probably fine. They do lean a lot into the nostalgia aspect, though.
Yeah. I see where you're coming from, Rift, but it's kind of like that Aquaman argument, because I have a pet peeve with people who say Aquaman is a great film when it really isn't. I'm not saying it's not impressive. I'm not saying the music isn't good. I'm just like the story is the meat of the whole thing. If that doesn't work, it doesn't matter how good it is in every other case. That's just me.
So it's like that's kind of the issue that I have with Spider-Man 3. It's like I like each individual scene. I think each scene is fine, but like you string it all together and it kind of I don't know.
Oh man, I thought Spider-Man 3 wrapped up the trilogy in a nice little bow.
I mean, it did, but not in the way they intended. I think it was like a happy accident that it ended the trilogy as well as it did, given like the shit that went on behind the scenes.
I just feel like it was bittersweet. Like it kind of ended somber. Like there was some hope, but it felt bitter. Still.
Yeah. Don't tell me you guys didn't cry when Harry died.
I think
I
everyone
lost my mind when Harry died, but I was kind of expecting it because he said at the hospital that he would sacrifice himself for his friends. So I was like, why did that kind of lead into some foreshadowing?
I'm pretty sure
my biggest pet peeve with Harry dying is the way he died, because if my full belief is you can jump in front of something, then you should be able to tackle
his father did.
So what's keeping you from putting Spider-Man 3 in S tier? Because when you put all the scenes together, it creates a very messy film.
Spider-Man Lotus isn't on here.
Yeah, Spider-Man Lotus isn't. Oh, Morbius is on here. I didn't even notice that.
He's at bottom for me.
He's at bottom.
It's Morbing time. Like what? Can I say?
I didn't even notice Morbius. It was kind of tucked away in the corner there. But yeah, I guess we can.
At bottom.
Yeah. I'll give Morbin time that one layup.
In fact, here's something. I think
Spider-Man Lotus should be on here.
Lotus bottom of D tier.
It's a fan film. It's a fan film. That doesn't count.
At that point, you should put other fan films on here, like The Spider, for example.
Give Morbius his own tier. Yeah, I agree. Hold on.
That movie's actually not that bad either.
You're talking about The Spider, or?
I saw The Spider. The Spider is actually a pretty cool twist.
Alright, there we go.
Honestly,
I think that's the only logical decision here. Alright, because I think everyone's leaning on the edge of their seat, waiting for me to talk about Across the Spider-Verse. Let's,
Well, to be honest, I want to find it from your opinion, because I think it's below Into just now, because it's not a complete trilogy.
I mean, I was hoping that India.
Like, I think Across is a bit overrated, but I don't think it's bad.
Ooh, there's the hot take.
Like, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying
I'm just going to pop it there for the time being whilst I just adjust the tier list.
I will tell you,
you're going to make a lot of people in the chat upset.
I will tell you this.
Everybody's heart is just racing for Rift to someone has.
What makes me put Across maybe above Into the Spider-Verse is the fact that it gets Peter, like, in a stage in his life where I've always wanted him. That's pretty much it.
Oh, that I agree with. Finally, he's happy.
Oh, I don't know, man. Like,
yeah, but some people don't really like Peter B. Parker though.
Peter B. Parker, even though he's not not the best Peter Parker take out there, he at least represents what people want in the character, where he's been and where he should be.
And I like that he's an adult Spider-Man who's been through it all, and he's finally happy with a kid with MJ.
Yeah, but some people don't want that. Some people don't like
those guys are idiots. They want to stuck as a teenager forever.
I just want a Peter with a happy ending, and it doesn't matter. Well, what I'm trying to say is, before the Into the Spider-Verse movies, we were somber with Toby. Andrew didn't get his ending. Tom didn't get his ending. Spectacular got canceled, and every single media of Spider-Man outside the comics before Peter B had Peter in a state where you didn't know if Peter got that.
Ultimate though, because in Ultimate he.
Oh, that show sucks.
No idea.
While the show sucks, there is a lot of stuff in there that makes a lot of sense because it gets good around season.
I'll be honest, chat. I have literally no idea where this film's going. So like,
put it at B or A.
Stop keeping us in suspense, Rift.
See, like, I like Lego Spider-Man, so like maybe S. But then again, I really don't like. But then again, I really don't like certain elements. But then again, I prefer Miguel to Kingpin. So, but I also hate how they did certain versions of the characters.
Just put it this way: do you think it's worth?
Oh man!
Stop keeping us in suspense, Rift.
I think
everybody is just saying.
I think the biggest decision. Oh man!
It comes down to: do you prefer that film over TASM 2 and Far From Home?
Well, I mean, after playing the game, I think I like TASM 2 more.
Yes, I do. So it's at least B. Do I prefer it over Homecoming? Yes.
You've Morbius so dear.
Yeah, I put Morbius right at the top. See, this is the thing, like, both of these films are, like, visual headaches for me, but, like, one of them is... I haven't seen them in a while, but I remember one of them being better than the other. But it's been that long since I've watched them, I literally can't remember which one was which. I think I prefer...
Rating. I think it just becomes preference at that point.
I think it was this film that I preferred more. I liked Miguel over Kingpin. I liked, that they gave Lego Spider-Man a cameo. And I think the visuals were toned down enough to make it a little bit more bearable. So yeah, I'm gonna give it... is it better than Spider-Man 3?
I like that they gave Spectacular Spider-Man and Insomniac cameos.
Yeah, I think it's A tier.
About that, just because we don't... Like, you want more once you introduce that rabbit hole.
You should hold off from putting Across the Spider-Verse on the tier list. Yeah, I should have just not put it on the list at all. Just to make everyone like think about where I put it.
You're acting like this is like a button you're worried one button will destroy.
I mean, I had
the
to
world.
think about playthrough before. So I didn't know where to put all the Spider-Man games at one point. I put all of the Insomniac Spider-Man games in S tier.
I agree.
I would probably agree as well.
Actually, you could make an argument they're at least in A tier. I would say Miles would at least be around B tier if you were to like lowball it.
What do we think of this tier? Are there any other Spider-Man tier lists you want us to do? Because we're kind of running out of time.
Video games? Wait, was that? Oh wow, that was every single one of them. That was quick.
What about not iterations of the character, but if you were to have a main suit for a Spider-Man, what would it be?
I probably do like maybe the suit on my profile.
Unless there's the only other thing I can think of. Hold on, I'm knocking things over.
This is so easy for me.
Go on.
Yeah, we can tell. I'm just asking in general because there can always be a different viewpoint.
I really like
if it were the Toby suit, which one would it be, for example?
Are you talking to me?
Just the person who says the answer's easy.
For me, it's between Spider-Punk and the TASM 2 suit.
Oh, lame.
I don't know, actually. That's a fair point.
Even though I really do like Superior.
For me, it comes down to like I want to say the Advanced Suit 2.0, but it's like that's a bit on the nose. But I'm thinking of like a classic look that's both unique at the same time. But it's like
I like this one. Yeah, this tier list doesn't have every single Spider-Man suit, but it has a couple of suits from outside of the films, which I think could be interesting.
Can you link it in the chat?
Yeah, just put it in.
Oh, easy.
I'm just having a look at your lists.
Spider-Punk is not on here.
Not little. Alright, we'll do this tier. We'll do this tier list. Fuck it. Because why not? Obviously, S tier is being changed to pink because I love it when S tier is pink. Alright, so whenever you're ready.
When this thing loads.
Tier lists just hate you, apparently.
Well, I don't know what it is, but even when I'm trying to watch your live stream, it's like cutting, it's like pausing. I can hear the audio, but it's like I can't see anything.
If Lotus was on,
mine.
If Lotus was on here, I would put it in C tier if you cut out 90% of the unnecessary story where it makes you want the movie to end. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, annoyingly, there isn't every single suit here either. I mean, it's close enough.
Hey guys, I just finished mine.
Have you? Okay.
Okay, good for you.
Alright, put it in the chat.
I'm guessing that's Miles's suit from the games. So that's for the homemade suit. So we'll go through them one by one. So Toby's homemade suit.
Don't put the human spider so low.
I mean, realistically, it's not a great suit, but it is what it is. It just kind of exists. Miles from the Insomniac games.
Just want to let you know, the ones in my S tier are the suits that scream Spider-Man to me.
TASM 1 suit? TASM 1 suit's interesting, because it's like, I like the game version, but the film version's not as good. Like, the game version's great, the film, not so much. I'll put it in B for now. Iron Spider, feck off. Vigilante suit, again, no thanks. Comic Iron Spider. Comic Iron Spider isn't really my thing either, but I still like it.
I like the arm for it.
Yeah, obviously it doesn't have the Insomniac symbiote suits
on
either.
top of that, one more thing about the Iron Spider suit, that's what Tom should have had. But
yeah.
Okay, I know some of you are gonna hate my tier list.
It's pretty difficult to hate that black suit. It's so iconic, and I love the blue outline as well.
Wait, hold on a second. Why is the Raimi suit in B tier?
It isn't. Oh, you're not looking at my list, gotcha. I was confused for a second.
And the 90s cartoon in D tier? What the hell, Phoenix?
As for this, it's probably the best homemade suit, but even then it's not very good. Stealth suit, feck off. Are there any other D tier suits here? I guess Spider-Ham, purely just because it's not Spider-Man. But anyway, so...
Okay, I'm almost done, and then you guys can judge me.
Probably B tier.
I already hate Phoenixes.
So like, I'm trying to keep the S tier suits from last. Like, all of these suits are pretty good. I'm just kind of depending on, like, which ones do I actually think go where. Again, like, Spider-Noir's good, but it's not really Spider-Man. It's kind of like its own thing. Okay,
I'm waiting for the it's sent.
Fuck, now I need to decide where these ones go. Damn.
Now that's more like it, yeah. ASAP.
This is tough. Shit. Oh, they're all so good.
Hey, ASAP, do you see mine?
Haven't yet.
Well,
and
scroll up
your
and you will.
Or Phoenix.
Me. You see the scroll up and see mine.
Yeah, I like that one.
Your photo's not loading.
Well, I can see mine.
Well, it's probably my connection, not you, so...
My S tier are only the ones that scream, that's Spider.
Sorry, I didn't have my mic on.
I don't know if this is
I don't
a
know
good
if you guys
list or not,
like mine, because like with mine, it's mainly just I have like a bias for
You literally put the 90s cartoon one in D tier when that literally is Spider-Man.
I literally just... I
don't know. There's just something about like there's just something about like how the suits look to me, but at least the vigilante suit, I just feel like the vigilante. I feel like the vigilante suit should have been up a little bit higher, but I was like, no.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry if I've offended anyone here. I'll put the link. I'll put the fucking thing in the chat so you guys can have a look at it.
I like yours, right? I like yours.
Okay, I like that list.
Yours is not bad. The only one I kind of disagree with is just like the Far From Home one and Iron Spider. That's the only ones.
You can add suits that don't appear though. I mean, maybe. But...
Yeah. A pain. Like you just keep adding and adding. You like.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pain. I don't know. Like, there's not that many suits that I actively dislike. So like the D tier ones, Like, some of them just aren't very good. The C tiers are just kind of average.
Yeah.
I don't really dislike many Spider-Man suits.
I dislike some, but not all.
And again, with like my S tier, you could basically randomize my S tier and I'd still probably agree with you. Like, they're all just as good as each other for different reasons. So like, fucking any order you like.
I'll just tell you this: the ones that I say C B tier or under, I think are trash.
We'll go with that. There we go. We'll go with that order. I don't know.
You go look at ours.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so I like this row. I like the first row.
How do you share it? Am I being
Everything
an idiot?
down from S to A is pretty good.
Oh, download image. Gotcha.
Well, down from S to C is pretty good.
Right, let's see.
My only thing is like I somewhat disagree with you on the Iron Spider thing because like if Tom had that suit.
No,
I mean, my
I'll
thing
put
about
mine in there. Right, let's have a look at Sam Raimi's first of all. Really? TASM 1 suit? Okay, the Far From Home black and red. Now that is blasphemy.
I don't care. It doesn't scream Spider-Man to me. The ones in the S tier are the ones that scream that's Spider-Man to me.
And here's the thing: C tier is just me just saying it's just not my cup of tea, but I'm not saying it's bad.
Oh dear.
Well,
oh dear, right. I'm not looking forward to Phoenix's, because I'll do Phoenix's last, because I feel like that's going to be the worst one. Although I'm not...
Oh, you're going to be so disappointed.
I don't know why A-Safe's list is so blurry by comparison. I don't know what's happening.
Oh yeah, it does look a little blurry.
Why is mine blurry?
I don't know. I don't know why the image was blurry. But anyway.
Is it? Can you see it now?
Yeah, I got it. The comic Iron Spider suit in D tier. Huh.
Just not my cup of tea with that.
Apart from that, they're kind of okay. And again, the Far From Home black suit getting mad
What is your
disrespect.
issue with that?
I just love it. It's so good. Not again. The rest of the list is pretty fine. Aside from the fucking Iron Spider from the MCU, I just think that suit's so ugly.
I think that if the ones that we all match with, we can all agree on. You know what I mean?
All right, let's have a look at Phoenix's. What the shit? All right.
Yeah, I already.
Okay, so why?
The 90s suit.
Okay, why is the 90s suit in D tier? Human.
I like this black suit more.
I mean, yeah, I like the black suit as well, but like, why is the Stark suit in D tier? Like that suit's pretty good.
No, it's not. It has all that tech in it. I don't like techie Spider-Man.
I mean, you have the advanced suit in S tier, so
That's different.
how they both have tech.
Like you could
Well,
say.
at least the
I'm
Insomniac
surprised
one
though. Like
screams, that's Spider-Man.
my S tier is mainly just all just is all just is
Alright,
mainly just in.
Okay, the C tier, understandable, have a nice day. What the fuck is Toby's suit
You
doing
did
there?
to piss me off, Phoenix? Come on.
Why is Toby's suit in B tier? Explain.
I mean, I like his suit, right? But after that, I started thinking about what Lucas said. The TASM suit is basically similar to the Raimi suit.
So
You
there's
listen to Lucas? What the fuck, dude?
Why is it
like
that
by
guy?
the extension,
the
the
god
is similar to Tom's Stark suit. So
Why is the Vigilante one that high? It's literally a fucking balaclava.
Come on, Phoenix. You listen to Lucas of all people?
I mean, I like the suit. All they did, I do like the TASM suit more than the Raimi suit.
Why is
Oh,
the
fuck
Vigilante
you.
one that high? Like the
I-
Andrew Garfield homemade one. Like, why is it that high? Like
Bro,
it's literally dog shit.
From person, I consider myself an Andrew stan. So like,
Not surprised.
I mean, you have the Far From Home black suit in A tier. That's fine. You think that Toby's homemade suit is better than his normal one?
I like
It's the human,
Bruh.
the human spider.
like here's the thing I'll say about the Far From Home suit that I like is the fact that it reminds me of the Stark suit, but It's like if you had to make me choose between the Stark suit and the Far From Home suit, I would choose the Stark suit.
The Night Monkey stealth suit is S tier. What the fuck?
Oh, what the fuck?
What?
Night Monkey? It's just a discount black suit.
It's a discount black suit with no look. Also, SpongeBob can solo the Insomniac. Yeah.
Yeah, SpongeBob gets nuked by his own incompetence though at times.
I'm surprised though. Like nobody's not gonna say anything about Spider-Ham.
Yes, I've noticed it. What?
I mean, Spider-Ham is a character here, but I don't want to be a pig.
Both Miles suits in S tier. That's interesting. Andrew's suit being that high. Fair enough. It's interesting. Are the tiers in order?
For me, they're just more on my preferences rather than ranking, for example. Like, for example, if I say C tier, I'm just saying it's just not my cup of tea, but I would definitely wear it, where D tier I wouldn't wear.
Phoenix, are you...
My S tier...
Yeah.
My S tier is basically the 3 suits that scream to me, that's Spider-Man.
I mean,
Phoenix, are your tiers in order?
Yeah.
So you think that Andrew's first suit is better than his second?
I think his second suit's better, but at the same time, though, I really do like the way that the suit looks, or his first suit before the second suit.
It's pretty interesting that the advanced suit, like, I'm pretty sure it's S tier for all of us, but like, it's interesting that it's like the bottom of S tier for pretty much all of us as well.
You know what? Is no one gonna talk about mine?
Yeah, I'll have a look. Why not? I've already looked at yours.
Iron Spider's understandable.
Yeah, I already looked at yours. Yeah, I think for S tier that's fine. The 90s... Why is the 90s Spider-Man suit in D tier? Yeah, I know, right? Fucking no idea.
I mean, if it's like those fanfic like cloth suits, like in Peter's Web, if you've seen that fan film, if it's like that, then I can understand why it's at the bottom. But if it's
it's not that bad of a list. And then obviously this was mine.
The reason I picked those 3 for the S tier, because those 3 suits are the one that scream to me, that's Spider-Man.
But
that's
if I
reckon.
When it comes to D tier, it's like I wouldn't wear even if I was given the option. C is like I would still wear, but it wouldn't be what I want to wear. B is like something I would wear if I'm not really, like if I want to just feel like I'm in the mood for something. A is like, yes, I would definitely wear these in circumstances right. S I would wear all the time.
Yeah, I think that's pretty respectable. It's like S tier, the suits the S tier suits I would pretty much wear whenever. A, still really good, just not my favourites. B, I like them. C, can take it or leave it. And then D, I wouldn't be caught dead wearing. But anyways, that is unfortunately where the stream is going to be ending because I have food and also I've got a few things I want to be doing this evening. So with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed the stay here. I want to thank everyone for being in VC as always. It really means a lot. Hold on, just checking something. Yeah, it really means a lot as always. Unfortunately, as far as live streams go, we've had 4 back-to-back, but that is unfortunately me done for the weekend. I'm back to work. I've been off sick for too long. Need to get back into the working side of things, but there'll be more from me next week. So with that being said, have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you, Asa, Phoenix, and Sam Raimi for being here. It really means a lot. And
anytime.
Have a good weekend, guys. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you later.